Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you for confirming. Okay. Very good morning to all of you. So, as you haven't met me before, I think I have to introduce myself to you all. So, you are students of Diploma in Agriculture and Plantation Management, and today you have joined to do the module on post-harvest and food quality management. So, my name is Kamali Ratnayaka, and I'm a senior lecturer attached to the Department of Horticulture and Landscape Gardening in the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management. And my area of expertise is post-harvest technology. So that's why I have been assigned to do this part for you. And so far, you have learned about crops. I think you have learned courses on different types of crops, field crops, horticultural crops, am I right? Plantation crops. So this part is something related to crop production, but this is after harvesting the crop produce. So that's why it is known as post-harvest. So I will be doing 2 days on this module, post-harvest and food quality management. So today is the first day. I was actually waiting for some more students to join, but it looks like there aren't any more students. And just a kind request, all students, please keep your microphones muted. If you are not going to answer a question or if you are not going to ask a question, please keep all your microphones muted. Time to time, I can see a lot of noises. Some students have turned their microphones on. Please keep them muted unless you want to talk to me. Okay. Right. I think at the moment there are around 27 students. I don't know how many students are there in this Saturday group, but I hope that it is more than 50. Should be more than 50. Nearly, I don't know the exact number. Pardon? How many students? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Saturday generally join about 100.
100?
Yeah.
Okay, so why are the numbers less today? I have no idea. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's okay for me, no problem. All right, so today I'll be talking on this topic for the first time. And yes, so these are the things that I'm going to cover in this module on day 1. Right? So today, the topics will be post-harvest losses of agricultural products. So I'll be talking about the losses in the food produce in the morning. And also I will be talking about the basics or fundamentals of post-harvest physiology in crop products. And finally about the maturity and harvesting indices. Right? Don't worry much about these terms. I will explain the terms as simply as possible when I come to those places. And at the end of this module, you are expected to achieve these things. You are expected to get the ability to describe the physiological. There are some microphones on. Sorry, I mute them. Right. So you should be able to explain or describe the terms and also describe the physiological processes taking place in crop products, especially the perishable products. And you are expected to understand the importance of correct harvesting practices. And also you are supposed to apply the knowledge apply the knowledge you obtained in this course to reduce the post-harvest losses of perishable products. So basically, these are the things that we expect from you at the end of this particular module. Now, so far you have learned about crop production. I think there are certain subjects like horticultural crop production, field crop production, and then plantation crops, like different things about various crops, cultivation practices, basically agronomy and cultural practices. And have you learned anything on field crops or other crops, horticultural crops? I think yes. Right? Maybe you have forgotten what you have learned, but definitely you have learned about crop production. Everything you have learned related to crop production in any previous course comes under this pre-harvest matters. What do you mean by pre-harvest? Pre-harvest is before harvesting the crop. Now you know you cultivate paddy and other crops, any fruit or vegetable, and until you harvest fruits, everything you do before harvesting is known as the pre-harvest stage. In Sinhala, we call it Perasunu Kale, right? Anything that you do after harvesting the crop product is known as post-harvest stage or Pasuasanu Kale. Right? So up to now, I think you have learned a lot of things about pre-harvest practices in crop production. Right? Then today we are going to learn about something to harvesting and lot of practices done after harvesting. So that's this is so products should be handled in a special way. Should be handled in a very specific way.
Recording in
The
progress.
post-harvest life by shelf life. The entire lifespan of a product after you harvest is known as shelf life. Suppose when you harvest mature mango fruit, maybe it will ripe within 1 week. So within 1 week it will ripe and you will eat it. So that means its shelf life was about 1 week. And if you keep it, if the mango fruit rots within 3-4 days, then its shelf life was about that time, 3 days or 4 days. So depending on the quality of the product, the shelf life can vary. Sometimes shelf life is very short for some products, and sometimes shelf life is long. Now, with this knowledge, do you know any agricultural commodity which have naturally very short shelf life? They naturally have shorter shelf lives, very short shelf life. That means you can't keep them for longer. Maybe 1 day, maybe maximum 2 days, not more than that. Do you know any agricultural product like that? By the way, we have learned agriculture so far, and maybe we have some experience, day-to-day experiences. Certain products, when you buy home, you can't keep for longer. Some fruits and vegetables, even their quality go bad. No idea. Right. So think of a variety of agricultural products. Now think of some leafy vegetables. Leafy vegetables like lettuce. You know what lettuce is? Lettuce is salad kola. Salad kola ගෙනල්ලා ගෙදර තිබ්බොත් නිකන් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Just keep it on a table. Its shelf life will be just 1 day, or maybe less than 1 day, several hours, because it will wilt. What will happen? It will wilt. මැලවිලා ඇකිලිලා යනවා. So that those kind of products have very shorter shelf life. And when you proceed with this lecture, you will come across number of commodities which have shorter shelf life. Do you know any commodity having a longer shelf life? That means you can keep them for several weeks, maybe several months. Any example from your household items? You can keep several months. What about potato? Potato, how long can you keep potato?
Big onion.
Pardon? Big onion, yes, very good. Yes, big onion, onions, potatoes, yams, alavarg, root and tubers, especially we call them root and tubers, alavarg. Then those are quite good in their shelf life. You can keep for 3-4 months, onions and potatoes. If you keep them in a good place without moisture, you can keep them for 3-4 months, at least 2 months. There are storage periods for potatoes and onions. They can be stored in the normal environment for around 2 months, or maybe maximum 3 months in the normal environment. Likewise, they have a longer shelf life. So what makes this difference? Some have shorter shelf life, some have longer shelf life. So there are different factors which affect the shelf life of these agricultural commodities. So sometimes it is genetically determined. That is, it is a commodity factor. So depending on the characters of the commodity, it can have a shorter shelf life or a longer shelf life. Some fruits like strawberries, very short shelf life. If you keep strawberries in the normal environment, it will go bad within 1 day. Very short shelf life. There are some other upcountry vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower. You can't keep them in the normal environment, they will go bad. So they have inherent characters, genetically determined characters, commodity factors, right? In addition, there are environmental factors as well. But basically, depending on the commodity's characters, their shelf life can be longer or shorter. Right? So there are differences in the shelf life of agricultural commodities. So you have to understand that, right? So based on this difference in shelf life, length of shelf life, we can divide commodities basically into 2 categories known as perishables and durables. So what are perishables? Perish කියන්නේ නරක් වෙනවා. So perishables means ඉක්මනින් නරක් වෙන. So there are other, non-plant-based commodities like milk, meat, like one, but they are animal-based product. I'm not talking about animal-based product. I'm talking about only the plant-based product here. So under plant-based products, agricultural commodities, having shorter shelf life are known as perishables. commodities shorter post-harvest life or shelf life are known as perishable. So almost all fruits and vegetables and cut flowers are coming under perishables. Now there are some vegetables which have a longer shelf life. Do you know any example? Pumpkins like vegetables. Now if you consider pumpkins and tomatoes, compare tomatoes and pumpkins. Tomato will perish quickly, but pumpkins can last a few weeks. So pumpkins have a somewhat longer shelf life, but still all these fruits and vegetables cannot be kept for very long, like potatoes or other yams or onions. So they are coming, almost all these are coming under perishable. I'm talking about the fresh products, not the dried products, right? Dry process fresh products. So the fruits, vegetables, cut flowers, cut leaves, like agricultural commodities are perishable products. So when you handle these perishable products, proper care is essential. So under this lecture series, you'll be learning how to care properly for these perishable products. So what do you mean by post-harvest handling? Now you know what is post-harvest time, post-harvest life and shelf life from producer to consumer. Consumer is the paribhogikaya, right? So producer is the nishpadakaya. From producer to consumer, after harvesting a commodity until it is consumed by the consumer, commodities will undergo various operations. They are subject to various practices, right? So some of them include cleaning. You clean the dirty commodities. Then you do trimming. Trimming is removal of unwanted parts. අපි අනවශ්‍ය කොටස් කපලා අයින් කරන්න ඒක තමයි trimming කියන්නේ. For example, in carrots, after harvesting carrots, you remove the top leaves in carrots. In beets, nokol also, most of the time people remove the leaves because leaves have a shorter shelf life. So if the leaves look bad, people won't buy it. So they are removing the leaves in nokol and beetroot like products as well. And in banana like products, you cut into hands. Banana කෙසෙල් කැන කපපුවාම every වලට වෙන් කරනවා. ඒ වගේ different practices are there. Then grading is to separate into different quality categories, different sizes, right? Grading, big ලොකු ඒවා පොඩි ඒවා කියලා වෙන් කරනවා. Quality, good quality ones, bad quality ones. So that is grading. Cleaning, maybe washing or wiping, different kinds of cleaning is done. Then we pack it. In Sri Lanka, some people use bags, then sometimes we use plastic boxes, then cardboard boxes. So packaging is done. And for some products, there's a storage period. So after packing, people store them either in cool environment or in the normal environment. They have storage environment, storage area. So storage is done. So finally, the product is transported to the market, right? Product is transported to the market. So these are just some of the post-harvest handling practices. So depending on the commodity and depending on the market you are supplying, there will be number of operations, and all these operations are coming under post-harvest handling practices. And higher the number of handling practices, it takes the more time it takes, and there will be more damages to the products as well. There will be more losses when there are more handling practices. So theoretically, it's the way. Now, in my first lecture, I want to introduce you these post-harvest losses. Now, you know, after harvesting, these products are undergoing so many practices: cleaning, grading, packing, like different practices. And finally, it comes to the consumer. Now, take this example. Here, a producer of papaya වවන කෙනෙක් has harvested about 100 kilograms of papaya, good quality papaya, right? So this is the amount at the harvesting time. But out of this 100 kilogram of papaya, when it reaches the consumer, at that level, consumer has received only 60 kilograms. That means only 60% of this initial quantity. So what does that mean? 40% or 40 kilogram has been lost. Right? Is it a good thing or bad thing? 40 kilogram of papaya has been lost. What do you think of that? Can it happen? Or is this just hypothetical? No, it does happen, right? Not only in papaya, in many perishable fruits and vegetables, this is the case. If you take some vegetables like okra, on average 30 to 40%. That means if you harvest 100 kilogram, about 40 kilogram will be lost before it reaches the consumer. So this is known as post-harvest loss, right? So most of these losses are caused by our bad handling at different stages in the marketing channel. This is just one example. Okay. Now you can ask questions. If anything is not clear, you can ask questions for clarifications, and you can even propose new things. If you have some different experience with the things that I'm talking here, you can share your experiences with others, your colleagues, and with me, and you can ask questions. So don't be afraid. You can ask anything, and also you can talk freely your ideas. Okay. Now you may have seen these type of losses, especially in economic centers and nearby places of these economic centers in Sri Lanka. You may have heard about these economic centers. ආර්ථික මධ්‍යස්ථාන කියලා තියෙන මීගොඩ, ගම්බුල්ල like areas, Kappetipola, and near to close to those economic centers, these kind of losses are evident, not only in those places, in various places, even in supermarkets, near grocery shops, we experience these type of post-harvest losses. You can see how much produce is wasted. Now this photograph is from Dambulla Economic Center. And in certain periods of the year, the losses are very high. Okay, there are different things going on here. Sometimes the losses are because of the bad produce. Sometimes people throw the things away due to various other reasons in those economic centers. And so we will talk about the losses which happen because of the bad handling or bad quality products. Right? So in Sri Lanka, on average, the post-harvest loss of fruits and vegetables is in the range of 30 to 40%. So this is a very big amount. If you quantify it, if you make it into kilograms or tons, it's a huge amount. Right? So that means so much of produce is wasted because of bad handling, bad technologies. And this is a serious thing that everybody is talking about this, but no one is really into solving the problem. So let's see how these losses take place. Do you have any idea how these losses take place? Losses means the products go bad, so we throw it away. So people won't consume it due to various reasons. Sometimes you will keep the products in the refrigerator and you forget to consume it, and then when it stays in the refrigerator for too long, it becomes bad and you have to throw it away. That is also loss. Now losses take place in these perishable products because of these reasons. These are the different types of losses. So losses can be quantitative or qualitative. What do you mean by quantitative losses? Quantitative losses means that you can measure the loss. You can quantify the loss. For example, weight loss. Now think of an apple or mango, whatever. Imagine that this apple is not waxed. You know that in most of the imported apples, there's a wax layer outside. And because of the wax layer, it prevents the moisture loss. So the waxed apples will be okay for somewhat longer time. Think that this is a non-waxed apple, and if you keep it in the environment, normal environment, for several days, it will appear like this. There will be wrinkles and shriveling and wrinkling of the skin like this. What is the reason for this? Reason is moisture loss. Moisture loss means water is going out. Water is going out from the cells of this apple. When water goes away, the cells shrink. මේකේ තියෙන ජලය අයින් වුණාම මේකේ තියෙන ශෛල ඇකිලෙනවා. ඒ ශෛල ඇකිලුනහම මේ වගේ වෙනවා. මේ වගේ දෙයක් ඕනෑම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකකට වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඕනෑම එකකට වෙනවා. ලීෆි වෙජිටබල්ස් වගේ ගත්තාම ගොඩක් වැඩි. හරි. ඉක්මනට dry වෙනවා. මොකද ඒකේ වර්ගඵලය වැඩි. If you take leafy vegetables, go to kola, mukunnu and kangkung, lettuce, anything, their surface area is very large, so the moisture loss is very high. So they will wilt or they will shrivel rapidly compared to these products. This can happen to mango, tomato, anything. Right? So this is a moisture loss. So if you weigh it, you can weigh this initial product. Make it barakirana. It passe. If after this happens, if you weigh the product, if you get the weight of this product, there will be decrease in weight. The weight has decreased. So that decreased weight is basically the loss of moisture. මේකේ බර අඩුයිනේ. ඒ අඩු වෙච්ච බර ප්‍රමාණය ඇත්තටම ගොඩක් වෙලාට මේ moisture loss එක. So we can quantify it. That's a waste loss. You can quantify it as the weight loss, right? So the one of the major reasons for the weight loss is loss of moisture. One thing is the weight loss. Because of this, the other thing is that it loses the consumer attraction. Consumers will never buy products like this. So it is a loss. We have to throw it away. In the local market, this happens very quickly to a fruit product. Do you remember? Have you ever observed that in passion fruit? In passion fruit, this water loss is very rapid, very fast. So you can very often see the wrinkles on passion fruit peel. So that is called weight loss due to moisture loss. Right? You can quantify that. Sometimes we can lose pieces of the products. If it is a flower, you can lose the petals. If it is an inflorescence, you can lose the florets, flowers from the inflorescence. Then there will be missing parts, loss of parts from organs. So this is also post-harvest loss. Then you can't sell it, right? And another major reason, major cause of post-harvest losses is diseases. Diseases and disorders. Disorders are also similar to diseases, but there is no microorganism, but there can be problems, right? Now these are diseases. In both these samples, this is bell pepper and this is banana, you can see they have diseases. They have got diseases. So when the diseases are here in the product, nobody will buy it. Nobody will consume it. So this is a loss. Okay. And another reason for the losses is damages, mechanical damages. Can you see mechanical damages on these products? This carrot has a crack here. How can carrots get cracks? If you delay harvesting, it can happen. Delay the harvesting, you don't harvest at the right time, then there will be cracks. And sometimes due to irregularities in the irrigation, you don't irrigate in the proper way. එහෙම නැත්නම් වැස්සට අහු වෙනවා. හරි පායලා තිබිලා වහිනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඉරිගේෂන් ඉන්ටර්වල් එක හරි නැහැ. එකපාරට ඩ්‍රයි වෙලා තිබ්බ එකට වතුර වැටෙනවා. ඒ වගේ due to various reasons this splitting can happen. Cracks can happen, right? In fruits also this happens if you don't harvest at the right time. And damages like this potato, you can see the skin is removing. Now here you can see the skin is going away. How can this happen? This is a mechanical damage, mechanical injury. This happens. Now there are potato growers in Valimada and Norelli area. So they, after harvesting potatoes, they will tightly pack it in bags and send to Colombo. And sometimes they put into boxes also. And during transport, when the potato tubers rub with each other, this can happen. If they are newly harvested potato, this is more severe. Right? So after removing the skin, it loses the protection and there will be damages. They damage. So all these are coming under mechanical damages, and because of these damages, the products go bad easily. They get rots, narak වෙනවා, සහ කන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයට පත් වෙනවා. So these mechanical injuries cause post-harvest loss. Okay, what else? Now those are kind of some are qualitative, some are quantitative, and there are some qualitative losses like this. Now think of green beans, bonchi. How many of you can eat very tender, nice green beans in our local market? Can you buy this type of nice tender green beans? Mostly we have to buy these type of beans. They are very mature. They are toughened. We call this toughening. So these are toughened beans. Toughening is in Sinhala we call morano. Morano කියලා කියන්නේ මේ මෝරපු බෝංචි කන්න බෑනේ. It's very fibrous and it's not consumable. It's not appetizing, and the nutritional quality is also poor in toughened beans. So this is a loss, post-harvest loss. So consumers don't like this, and their nutritional quality is also poor. So we are expected to consume these kind of tender beans, although our farmers harvest beans too late like this. And here, another product having toughening problem is okra, lady finger. So you have to eat it tender before coming to this stage. Now this on the right hand side, you have a very mature toughened okra. Toughening is happening because of this lignification. Lignin is a chemical compound, and when lignin deposits in the cells become very tough and fibrous. Okay. Do you know any other product which shows this toughening? Any other vegetable in Sri Lanka? Very common one. You can't eat it when it is toughened. Any idea?
Rich gourd.
Yes, very good. Rich gourd is loofah. Yes. Sometimes it's called as rich gourd. Ridge, because it has ridges. Do you know that it has 10 ridges? Because it has 10 ridges, it is loofah, or in Sinhala, vatakulu. So vatakulu also undergoes this problem, and therefore we have to harvest it at the tender stage before coming to mature. So this is a post-harvest loss. The toughening is a post-harvest loss. Toughening, in other words, is morano. Right? So we have to avoid this because it's a post-harvest loss. What else? Now, you must be having this experience with leafy vegetables. If you are engaged in household work like cooking, food preparations, you must be familiar with these things. When you buy leeks from the market, it is very hard to keep it without yellowing. So yellowing is a post-harvest loss in leeks, not only in leeks, in all other leafy vegetables. You can see in the bottom row, kangkung leaves. So within just 1 or 2 days, leaves start to become yellow color. And these things are problem even in the exportation. People have to find solutions for these things. So going into yellow color is a post-harvest loss for leafy vegetables. What about this thing? It is called sprouting. Sprouts are coming out. Now, if you are going to plant these things, plant these potato tubers and onion bulbs, this is okay because it gives new plants. But for consumption, for human consumption, we sometimes store potatoes and onions in storage houses. Now, during storage, if this happens, it is a problem. This should not happen in the storage environment. Sometimes people apply certain chemicals to prevent sprouting in the storage. And this can even happen in your kitchens. If you keep potatoes in warm, humid environments, it will sprout. Right? Nice. Now, for consumption purposes, this sprouting is not good because it will change the original flavor, texture, and qualities of the product. So we should avoid it. Otherwise, this is a post-harvest loss. And leafy vegetables. I previously talked about leafy vegetables. It will lose water very quickly because of its large surface area. And due to this water loss, moisture loss, it will quickly become wilted. It can become wilted. Leafy vegetables, then cut flowers like these products. Cut flowers and foliage are also perishable agricultural products. And they will wilt when the water is going out from the product. Now, all these things that I talked up to now are coming under different types of post-harvest losses. Okay, so these major reasons cause many losses in fresh agricultural products. Now, these losses take place throughout the marketing channel. I hope you have done some economics and marketing subjects in this diploma. Maybe marketing of agricultural products. And there, now you know that agricultural products go through a channel from the producer to consumer. There are various channels, different channels, right? Basically, there's a traditional channel through which the product from manufacturer or the producer goes to the consumer. So here we have the grower or the manufacturer, and then the products will go to the wholesaler or Togavelinda, and then to the retailer, and finally to the consumer. So this is a conventional channel. There are deviations from this channel as well. And in every stage, losses take place, losses of products take place. And in Sri Lanka, majority of the losses take place during these two stages, wholesalers and retailer, wholesale and retailer level. Most of the losses will take place in these stages. Why? Because these two people do a lot of handling. They do transport, handling, like things are mostly done by these two people, the middlemen, and losses mostly take place. All the other stages also contribute to losses, but these have more losses. So in every step, losses take place along the marketing channel. Now, have you seen different marketing channels? Do you know any channel consisting only of the producer and consumer? Sometimes the producer directly delivers the products to the consumer. There are very short marketing channels like that, but those are not very common. We have seen sometimes there are certain markets like Good Market in Colombo, where producers of certain products bring their products to sell in that place. So the consumers will directly buy from the producer. So when the marketing channel is shorter, there'll be less post-harvest losses. And even in the second channel, producer, wholesale and consumer, then also there aren't many losses. But when it comes to the conventional channel, producer, wholesaler, retailer and consumer, there'll be more parties involved, and it means more handling, more parties, more handling, and that means more losses. So higher the number of parties involved in handling, higher the post-harvest losses. Okay. Now, what about the distance even? Sometimes this is especially related to countries like Sri Lanka. If the distance of the market is higher, there will be more losses. Suppose you are transporting vegetables from Nuwara to Hambantota-like area, Nuwara to Colombo maybe. So if it is transported long distances using bad packaging and bad transport methods, then there will be more losses. Right? So there are things that affect throughout the marketing channel that affects the post-harvest losses, like the number of parties involved and the distance of travel. So those things can affect. Okay, and what's the reason? Because we have poor logistics in our countries. You can look at this photograph on the screen. This is not from Sri Lanka, this is from India, but Sri Lanka's situation is not different to this. It is similar or sometimes even worse. And what's wrong with this transport method here? Now, this is a small vehicle. You can see how the products are tightly packed here. So what are the problems here? Do you see any problem here at all? So I don't know what is inside, but looks like there are bags and some baskets here hanging, but there are some bags inside. There may be some produce inside in these bags. They are jam-packed, and on top of here, on the roof, bananas are here. So they are transporting bananas under the sun they are exposed to sun. It's not a good thing because it increases the temperature of the product, and you learn what happens when the temperature is going up in the product. And here some other products are on bags on the ground. So this transport method has problems. In Sri Lanka also we have similar methods of transport. So you can look at this photograph which was taken at our Dambulla Economic Center. And what is this? Banana. Banana transported in a three-wheeler. What's wrong with this? Do you see anything wrong in this method? It's because of this tight packaging here, tight packing. And here, I think the bananas are everywhere here. So the fruits here are under big pressure. They are under big pressure because all the weight of these fruits come onto the products in the bottom layers. So that's a big pressure. And because these bananas are not ripe yet, they will withstand the pressure at this stage, but they are crushed, right? The danger of these methods is that at this stage, you do not see the damage. You can't see the damage because bananas are still firm. May stage ekedi damage එක පේන්නේ නැහැ. Because they are firm, they are still green, but when the product goes to the retail sellers level and consumers level, you can see some damaged areas. Sometimes when you go to buy bananas from the retailer, you can see some damaged spots. In every banana hand, you can see soft areas. The soft areas are caused by the damages happened at this stage. මේ කාලෙදි මේ early stage එකේදී මේ විදිහට bad handling, bad transport නිසා තැලිච්ච areas ඉදෙනකොට තැලිලා. So the damage is visible only in the later part of the marketing channel. So that is the problem, right? Now in Sri Lanka, mostly the situation is like that. Very rarely we can see adoption of good transport methods. What about the situation in developed countries? Say some countries like USA, Europe, Australia, like countries, developed countries. What about their losses? Now I mentioned that in Sri Lanka, the post-harvest losses are between 30 to 40% on average. What about their losses in those countries? So those countries have been able to reduce their losses to this range, 5 to 25% loss. So depending on the commodity, for some commodities, they must be experiencing low, very less post-harvest losses, like somewhere around 5% or less. And sometimes for some products, up to about 25% due to their high perishability. And USA claims that they are maintaining their losses in this range, 2 to 23%. And how can they achieve that? What do they do differently from us? What do you think? Are their technologies different? They have adopted the technology, right? We have technology. Even Sri Lanka has the technology, but in Sri Lanka, we have problems in adopting the technology. Technology has been introduced, but there's a problem in adopting it. A technology use due to cost and other socio-economic factors. Our people have been unable to implement those technologies. Therefore, there's a reluctance in introducing these technologies as well. So, what are the differences there? One thing is they maintain the cold chain. Cold chain or cool chain, I will explain it later what cold chain means. That means a cold chain has become an essential part in their fresh produce handling. What do you mean by cold chain? Cold chain is from harvesting until the product is taken by the consumer. Products are maintained under low temperature. Why low temperature is so important? So I'll explain it later. Why this cold temperatures or low temperatures are very important. Now, for example, they transport their perishable products in cool trucks. So this one is a cool truck, and this Aldi is a popular supermarket channel, and their products are transported in cool trucks. Right? So this is part of their cool chain. Even in supermarkets, you know that they maintain products in low temperature. So basically, they have adopted better logistics. Because of this better logistics, better handling practices, they have minimized their post-harvest losses compared to what we experience in Sri Lanka. So you must be thinking about these differences. What do they do differently? That is important. What about the supermarket channels in Sri Lanka? What do you think of their performance? Recently, there were some talks related to related to some other measures in one supermarket channel, but think of their fresh produce handling here. How do you think their losses are? Now, in Sri Lanka, on average, we have 30 to 40% loss. What do you think their losses will be? If you individually take this now as a whole, this supermarket channel. Now they claim that their post-harvest losses are maintained under 10%. And some of these supermarkets say that their losses are about 7 to 8%. That's a big decrease, big reduction in the losses, 7 to 8%. And usually they are maintaining less than 10% post-harvest loss, less than 10%. So that's a big achievement. Okay. So how can they do that? What do you think their technologies? So they have employed better logistics compared to the normal channel in Sri Lanka. So these supermarket people have adopted cool trucks like this. They transport produce using cool trucks, and they have better, registered suppliers, and they instruct the suppliers to provide them the good quality products. They provide some assistance and inputs. They decide on good varieties, which should be grown by their contract growers. So it's part of the chain, right? So basically, by adopting better logistics, like at least partially, they have adopted this cool chain. Even during display in their supermarkets, in their outlets, they are maintaining lower temperatures compared to the normal atmospheric temperature. So because of that, they have been able to maintain their losses below 10%. Okay, is that clear, everyone? The losses, post-harvest losses. Okay, so you can ask questions if anything is not clear. Now, I was talking about the perishables and losses of perishables. And what about the other category? The opposite of perishables are durables. Durables means the crops which have a longer post-harvest life. So in this photograph, you can see some examples for durables. They have longer shelf life compared to perishables. Examples are the grains, atavarga, cereals like rice and maize, hal, badiringu, then pulses like green gram, chickpea, kadala, mungata, paripu, pulses. Those are called as pulses, mashabogu. So as you see in this picture, pulses and cereals, dhanya boga saha mashabogu. So they are coming under durables because you know that compared to the fruits and vegetables, we can have a longer shelf life of these products, right? And their handling practices are also different to what you do with fruits and vegetables. So in a different module, in separate module, I'll be talking about the post-harvest handling of durables, not under this module. Therefore, forget about durables at the moment. So now you have some idea what post-harvest losses are. Under Sri Lankan situation, about 30 to 40% of the harvested produce go waste. Do you think that we should avoid these losses? We should minimize these losses or just ignore it? It is important to minimize these losses. Why? Because it's a food loss. Right? So it is predicted that by 2050, the world population may be 9 to 10 billion, and that some people may be starving. Even today, there are people who are deprived of food. They don't have access to enough food. Even in Sri Lanka and other countries, there are people like that. And on the other hand, there's a lot of food waste going on, food waste taking place. And in USA, they say that out of the total food production, 1/3 go waste. 1/3 goes waste. That's how they say. So that means we are wasting food that some people need. And there are a lot of other things like uneven distribution, like things, but we are not talking about that at this stage. What we want to say is that we need to prevent post-harvest losses, because that's a kind of food loss, and we are wasting the food that some people need. Because of that, we need to minimize. And when you make something, when you make a product, agricultural product, suppose you are harvesting vegetables, bean, tomato, whatever, and until the time of harvesting and then consumption, you are using a lot of inputs on that. You are using a lot of inputs, right? A lot of inputs like land, labor, and then money in the form of agrochemicals, pesticides, fungicides, fertilizer, a lot of labor and time. So those are inputs, right? So after putting all inputs, you get some harvest, and then after harvesting also you spend a lot of money, time and resources on that until it is gone to the consumer. And the minimizing this loss is cheaper than producing the same amount again. So that's the idea of this sentence. Preventing loss is cheaper than producing more of the same quantity and quality. That means if you want to produce, if you want to produce more of the same quantity, DAPM 03062. Can you please mute your microphone? I'm unable to mute it due to, I don't know, due to unknown reason. Please mute your microphone. 3062. There's no name in it. It's better if you can put your name in front of your DAPM number, index number, so that I can call you by name. DAPM 3062. Please mute your microphone. I'm unable to mute it. I don't know the reason. Now, so we are talking about why minimizing losses is important. And as I explained just a while ago, now think of this example. Here's tomato. So the farmers produce tomatoes after putting so many inputs: land, labor, other resources, agrochemicals, water, irrigation. So after spending all these resources, now he gets the harvest. And imagine what happens if you lose it somewhere here in the distribution channel. If you lose the product, all your resources, all your inputs go waste. It's a waste of inputs, waste of resources. So we should avoid this, right? Because we need many resources to make food into this level, okay, to grow this product. Therefore, energy used to produce and market food that is eventually lost could be conserved if we minimize losses. This is a pathetic situation that all your inputs go waste if something happens like this in the marketing channel. Right? And there's an environmental concern as well. There are environmental concerns because this decaying food waste can be an environmental problem. How? How? Now, have you heard about greenhouse gases? Tell me a well-known greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas, kineva danwada?
Methane.
Yes, methane. I have given that name here. Good. Any other a very popular greenhouse gas? Popular means very well-known greenhouse gas. What about carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So what do you mean by greenhouse gases? Greenhouse gases means now if you have carbon dioxide, for example, it is called a greenhouse gas because it can absorb heat from the sunlight. So it can absorb heat from the sunlight and it can accumulate that heat waves on the earth, right? As a result, the temperature on earth goes up. So that's what we are experiencing now. Api global warming කියලා කියන්නේ. All these greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide, methane, and some others, contribute to this global warming because these gases can absorb the heat waves and it can accumulate heat in the world, in the world's atmosphere. As a result, we experience global warming, ගෝලීය උණුසුම, ගෝලීය උෂ්ණත්වය වැඩි වීම වෙනවා. And that's why it is called the greenhouse gas, because that phenomenon is known as greenhouse effect, the accumulation of heat. So, you know carbon dioxide as a well-known greenhouse gas, but methane is also a greenhouse gas. The danger is that methane has more power to accumulate heat compared to carbon dioxide. Methane වල ඒ හැකියාව carbon dioxide වලට වඩා වැඩි. Okay, the problem here is this rotting food waste. When we throw away a lot of fruits and vegetables, this rotting food waste produces methane gas. Under anaerobic conditions, it produces methane gas, right? And this methane gas can act as a greenhouse gas to contribute to global warming. If you can remember, something happened in somewhere in 2014, I think, that Meethatamulla garbage heap collapsed in 2014. And Meethatamulla Kunukanda කියන එක කඩාගෙන වැටුනේ කොළොන්නාව පැත්තේ 2014, I think. So at that time, a team of experts came from Japan to do some experiments there, and that team found that the methane gas, the level of methane gas on that in and around that garbage heap was very high. The concentration was very high, and it can also cause some explosions if it is becoming too high. So that means methane accumulation is very high near these rotting food waste. So that is an environmental concern as well, in addition to the food concerns. Okay, so because of all these concerns, it is necessary to avoid these post-harvest losses of fruits and vegetables, agricultural produce. But to reduce these post-harvest losses and to improve the shelf life of agricultural products, we should have some understanding of the post-harvest behavior of crops. Okay. Now, so far I have done about post-harvest losses. I have talked about what post-harvest means and what shelf life means, and there are shelf life differences among agricultural commodities. There are commodities with shorter shelf life, longer shelf life, and moderate shelf life. Okay, and there are losses taking place, and what are the reasons for post-harvest losses, and why we should minimize post-harvest losses. At the moment in Sri Lanka, we have about 30 to 40% loss. In durables, it is somewhat lesser. In durables, it is in between 10 to 20%. It is high, but it's lower than in perishables. So now our objective is to minimize losses. But in order to minimize losses, what should we do? We should adopt good technology, proper technologies, proper handling practices. So in order to develop and adopt proper technologies, proper handling, you should have some understanding about the post-harvest behavior of those agricultural products. Without knowing how these products behave, you can't take remedies, you can't give remedies. A products කොහොමද harvest කරාට පස්සේ හැසිරෙන්නේ කියලා දන්නේ නැතුව අපිට technologies develop කරන්න බැහැනේ. ඒ නිසා තමයි post harvest behavior ගැන යම්කිසි අදහසක් ගන්න ඕනේ crops වල අපිට technologies develop කරන්න නම්. So therefore, you have to learn a little bit about the basics of post-harvest physiology. So after learning this, you should understand that this is how different products behave. And based on that knowledge, you can think of different technologies, correct technologies actually. Correct technologies. To adopt the correct technologies, you should know the basics of post-harvest physiology. Post-harvest physiology means basics of how now I'm not going into very details. I will try my best to teach this as simple as possible so that you can understand the basics of how these products behave after harvest. Okay, so up to now, do you have questions from the previous part? So you can send me chat messages as well. I would prefer if you talk, but if you don't like to talk, you can send me questions and any message via this chat box also. I will accept that. No questions. Now the student number has increased to about 80, and I think some students join late. But it's my practice that I always try to be on time and punctual. So even today I waited for 5 minutes maximum for others to join, but even after 5 minutes, not a half of the students have joined. So I don't like to delay it, and it's unfair for other students who joined early. And even in my physical lectures, I don't want to delay the lecture at least by 1 minute. So next day, please join sharp at 9 a.m. So that I can start on time. Okay, you are joining from homes, aren't you? So you can join on time. There's no issue. Now we conduct our diploma in modern agrotechnology in the same faculty, and we have a lot of physical classes as well, practicals in DMAT. You may have heard about DMAT, Diploma in Modern Agrotechnology, and I'm the director of that diploma program. And we do a lot of physical practical sessions at the university, and those students come sharp on time for the practicals. So that we have trained them to come on time because we start just at 9 a.m. So learn to be punctual, because I'm telling this because I see a lot of students have joined now. So you must have missed the early morning part. Okay, so if you don't have questions, remember you can send me messages via chat if you have questions. So let's talk about some basics of post-harvest physiology in perishables in particular, right? Now, you know, there are perishable products, fruits and vegetables, and these perishables have some common characters. So we don't have to learn about individual products, but I will tell you what are the common characters that these fruits and vegetables have in common. And when you learn these things, you should get some idea how these products behave, right? Now, number one thing is that we should always keep in mind that these harvested fruits and vegetables are live. Now they are attached to a plant, and even after separating them from the plant, mother plant, they are still live, right? They are live material. ගහකින් කඩලා ගත්තට පස්සෙත් ඒවා live material. ඒවා ජීවි ද්‍රව්‍ය. So you have to consider it as the number one thing, right? So what is this? What is special about live material? Now we are live animals. Humans are live animals. So we do various things to generate energy for our day-to-day work, to survive. We need energy. As humans, we need energy. How do we get energy? We have this energy producing mechanisms in our body. And we have respiration. We take oxygen from the environment, and we do cellular respiration, and there are certain products made in our body. And by breaking down these things, the cells get energy. අපේ ඇඟ ඇතුලේ ශෛල එනර්ජි ලබා ගන්න ක්‍රමයක් තියෙනවා. ඔක්සිජන් පාවිච්චි කරලා ඒක වෙන්නේ. හරි? බයොලොජි කරපුවා දන්නවා ඇති. ඉතින් ඒ එනර්ජි වලින් තමයි අපි සර්වයිව් වෙන්නේ. Now even just to survive, we need energy. So that's why we get food. The carbohydrates in our food is broken down to produce this energy. Okay. Now, this is humans and animals. Now, similarly, these harvested plant products are also live and they also need energy. So, what do? They also have to take oxygen from the environment and they do the respiration. So, they are also doing respiration. Is swasana, right? They do respiration, and inside the cells in this product, cellular respiration takes place. That means the carbohydrates are broken down and energy is produced, and as byproducts, it will release carbon dioxide to the environment and it will release water, and energy is used for the activities of the product, the organ, fruit or vegetable or whatever, right? So this is happening inside all harvested fruits and vegetables, the fresh products, right? So respiration takes place and various metabolic reactions also take place. What do you mean by these metabolic reactions? Parivurtiya kriya. Parivurtiya kriya. Please don't think much about these Sinhala spellings here. Sometimes I can't get the exact word here because I use this Google Translate in these places. They don't always give the exact correct spelling. So just get the idea. Meaning only. Don't be very particular about the correct spelling in Sinhala terms. So lot of metabolic reactions. So parivurtiya kriya. That means some catalyzing, some breaking down actions, for example, let's take a fruit like banana. We harvest bananas at the green mature stage, mature bananas, and after you harvest it, within a few days, bananas will ripe. So during ripening, what will happen to the green bananas? The color changes. Color change. What about the internal tissues? It will become sweeter. That means starch will convert to sugar and suadavino. So there will be aromatic compounds developing inside. So all these are coming under metabolic actions, metabolic reaction, metabolic active. So these are happening inside this product. Continuously they are happening because they are live organs, right? So we have to keep that in mind. And another thing taking place in these products is transpiration. Transpiration is water loss, removal of water, removal of moisture from the product. So these three important actions take place inside this live material. And if you want to improve their shelf life, if you want to increase the shelf life of these products, what you have to do is you have to slow down all these things, all these activities. Right? ඇයි මේවා ගැන ඉගෙන ගන්න මේ දේවල් සිද්ධ වෙනවා මේ ලයිව් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් ඇතුලේ අපිට ෂෙල්ෆ් ලයිෆ් එක වැඩි කරගන්න නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මෙන්න මේ වෙන දේවල් වල වේගය අඩු කරන්න ඕන. We have to slow down the rate of these activities. ශ්වසන වේගය අඩු කරන්න ඕනේ, transpiration වේගය, metabolic reaction වෙන වේගය අඩු කරන්න ඕන. හරි, we have to keep that in mind. So this is what happens in this respiration of these products. They need energy, that's why they do the respiration. So here starch or carbohydrates or sugar, or starch, sugar, both are coming under carbohydrates. So they take oxygen from the environment. In the presence of oxygen, the energy is produced, and as byproducts, carbon dioxide, water, and heat is going out. So remember, in this respiration process, heat is also produced, right? So what is bad about this heat production? I will take an example. You can see in this reaction that heat is also produced as a byproduct of respiration inside the food. Now, what is wrong with this heat production? Now think that you are taking a bag. See that this is a polythene bag, polythene container, or a closed container. It's a closed container, right? And you keep some products inside, maybe apples, bananas, whatever, vegetable products inside. And you keep in the normal environment, room temperature. And now think that these are bananas or apples or mangoes, whatever. And now these products inside the package will do the respiration, this process. So during respiration, the heat will be produced. heat will be produced. So heat will accumulate inside, then the temperature of the product will go up inside the package. Temperature inside this package will go up, right? Is it a good thing or bad thing? When the temperature goes up, what will happen? When the temperature goes up, this respiration rate will further increase. අපි උෂ්ණත්වය වැඩි කරාම මේ ප්‍රතික්‍රියාවල වේගය තවත් වැඩි වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ තව වැඩියෙන් respiration වෙනවා. තව වැඩියෙන් transpiration වෙනවා. තව වැඩි වේගෙන් metabolic actions වෙනවා. So increase in respiration inside the heat, increase in temperature inside the package will further increase these reactions. So that will make the shelf life even shorter. Okay. So that is something we have to think of when we do packaging and storage of these products. තාපය එකතු වෙලා උෂ්ණත්වය වැඩි වෙන නිසා අපි product store කරද්දී package කරද්දී අපිට ඒක consider කරන්න වෙනවා. That's one of the major important things. Okay, everyone. Right. Now here, the product is the same thing is explained here. This product, banana, takes oxygen and produces energy by breaking down the carbohydrates, and as a result, heat is generated, carbon dioxide and water are also generated. So these are going out. And this, to get this energy, the stored food material is used. Stored food means sanchita ahar. Any product can have stored food, some amount of stored food. Some products have more stored food, like tubers, root and tubers, especially potato-like tubers, arthapal, then other yams, alavarga. Eva storage organs, right? Even the bulbs, onion bulbs, they are storage organs. They have more stored food. ඒවා ගබඩා කරන්නම හැදිච්ච අවයව නිසා ඒ වගේ ගබඩා කරපු ආහාර ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ වගේ shelf life වැඩි. එකත් එක හේතුව. So storage organs have more stored food and they have a longer shelf life. These products, normal fruits and vegetables, they have some amount of stored food, not much. So they are living on the stored food material. So if you have very high respiration rate, if the product has very high respiration rate, their stored food will deplete quickly. Respiration rate එක ගොඩක් වැඩි වුණොත් ඒ වගේ සංචිත ආහාර ඉක්මනට අඩු වෙනවා. So that will make the product very weak, and then it will become susceptible to diseases and it will go bad very quickly. Okay, so that is something basic about the physiological processes taking place in these products. Now, as I just mentioned, if the respiration rate, swasana vega, is very high in a commodity, they have shorter shelf life. Now, based on this thing, we can categorize perishable products under 3 major groups. What are they? We have products with high respiration rate, moderate respiration rate, and low respiration rate. Now, I have already mentioned some products with low respiration rate. So we can fill out this table. With your support, I will be able to fill out this. So products having low respiration rate, I told you some examples. Potato, yams, what else? Bulbs like onions. Even some fruits and vegetables are there, especially vegetables. Yes, vegetables are there which have somewhat low respiration rates. Can you name some? Any example? ගොඩක් කල් ස්ටෝර් කරලා තියාගන්න පුළුවන් low respiration. You can think of the products which can be stored for relatively longer period. Not in the case of fruits and vegetables, that's not too long, but compared to highly perishable vegetables and fruits, you can keep those fruits and vegetables for longer. I mentioned about that example. What about pumpkin? Pumpkin, pumpkin has a relatively lower respiration rate compared to other vegetables. Even the cucumber, local cucumber, not the salad cucumber, local cucumber. Pumpkin cucumber include the local pipinia and kakiri types. What else? Now, can you, if you can't think of any under that category, can you give examples for products having high respiration rates and therefore having short shelf life? So products having high respiration rate have very short shelf life. There also we talked about some examples. Can you tell me some examples there? Products for having very short shelf life? No answer. Can't you even send some chat messages so that I can read it out? Looks like you are not participating. Products having, yes, one message. Yes, tomato-like ones. Yes, we will put these tomato-like products under moderate category. So there are a lot of products under moderate respiration rate. Tomato, banana, mango, avocado. So most of the products. Vegetables. What about this high respiration rate category? There are some special fruits and vegetables which have high respiration rate, like you will say strawberry-like fruits.
Leafy vegetables.
Yes, leafy vegetables. Good. And especially young growing tissues. Young growing tissues. You will see some examples later. Young growing tissues. Then flower inflorescences and flower buds. They are also flower buds. What else? Yes, young vegetables like okra. Young tissues like baby corn. So those are having very high respiration rates.
Bell pepper.
They are coming under moderate category, right? Most of them are coming under moderate. They also have high, but we can categorize based on the difference. Basically, now because this rate affect the perishability, so these products can be considered as highly perishable compared to others because of their high respiration rates. And in leafy vegetables, the transpiration also affects their high perishability because leafy vegetables have a large surface and they lose water very fast. Right? So now my idea here is yes, apple coming under moderate category. Somebody has sent me apple. Good. Most of the fruits and vegetables are coming under this category. Now the idea here is to tell you that depending on the respiration rate of commodities, we can categorize them based on their shelf life. So products having very high respiration rate have a shorter shelf life. Products having lower respiration rate has a longer shelf life. So that is the basic idea of that, right? So when you develop technologies for different products, you have to think of that. Right? අපි ඉන්න මේකේ අදහස වෙන්නේ දැන් අපි තුමේ highly perishable commodity එකකට කරන packaging එක මේකට වඩා වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. tomato banana කරන package එකකට වඩා මේ packaging වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. වෙනස් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ respiration වැඩි, shelf life එක නිසා අඩුයි naturally. Storage environment. When you think of keeping quality, you have to manage storage environment in a different way. Now you can keep tomato, banana, avocado like things in the normal environment maybe a few days, but think of these strawberries, leafy vegetables, those things. If you keep in the normal environment, it will go bad within 1 day, mostly within 1 day. So that is because of high respiration rate and high perishability. So that is the idea. So you have to understand their behavior in order to develop good technologies. Okay. Now, these are some of the examples for agricultural products having very high respiration rates. What is common about all these? They will go bad within one day, within just few hours. This one is broccoli. Broccoli is a inflorescence. These are small flower buds. Here in cauliflower is also, they are flower buds. So they are rapidly respiring organs. Respiration is very high. This broccoli has to be kept in 0 degrees centigrade. If you want to keep the green color, you should keep it in ice. And this one, baby corn. So when you go to supermarket, you can see baby corn kept in the cooler section. Cooler, yes, a very under refrigerated section, refrigerated storage. Otherwise, if you keep in the normal environment, it will go bad very quickly because its shelf life is very short. Even this asparagus, they are growing clips, they are rapidly growing young tissues. And this is not cabbage, this is Brussels sprouts. So all these are upcountry vegetables. Even in Sri Lanka, you can grow broccoli, cauliflower, this asparagus and Brussels sprouts in Nuwara area. So these vegetables in Nuwara area, and this is from the cabbage family, but these are small sprouts, not cabbage. And peas. So in the supermarkets, you can see the green peas in freezer section, not in the normal environment because they go bad very quickly. Do you understand that? Right? So you can, now I have seen in our local market, people keep this broccoli and cauliflower just in the normal environment. That's a very bad practice because you can't keep them. Maximum 1 day or less than 1 day. දැකලා තියෙනවා මම මේවා හං වෙලා රැලි මේවා වෙලා කළු වෙලා තියාගෙන ඉන්නවා. So even in supermarkets, the temperature is too high for them under that normal environment. You have to have a very low temperature for them if you want to increase their shelf life. Okay. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. So now I want to introduce you this term called senescence. Senescence, right? Senescence. What is the Tingala term for that? Senescence is kind of death, the last stage. Now people, we grow old, and finally in our old stage we are going to die, right? So this final stage is kind of senescence in human lives. In the plant organs also, they start with the flower. They start with the flower. Flower is the reproductive organ, and then small fruit is developed, and this fruit increases in size because of the cell division and cell expansion. And at a stage, the fruit attains the maximum size. And this stage is called maturation. So at the end of maturation stage, the fruit is physiologically mature. Now here, this stage is known as physiologically mature stage. Why? Because when you harvest at this stage, it can ripe normally. So this is called the physiologically mature stage. So it has attained the physiological maturity. So after that, it will come to the ripening stage. So we consume when it is in this ripening stage, most of the cases. Sometimes we consume products raw, depending on the purpose. So this ripening stage comes then, and in the latter part of the ripening stage, the product goes to die. So it's a death process, and this is known as senescence. When it comes to senescence, now here you can see at this stage, this tomato is senesced. It will be no longer useful. So it's a dying organ, and this is called senescence. So in our in post-harvest technology, our objective is to maximize the shelf life at this stage, these stages, right? These stages. Now, as you can see, this senescence is a natural process. Like what happens to people and animals, these plant products undergo a natural process, and by senescence, they will end their life. So you now understand that we can't keep the products forever. We can't keep them forever. Our objective here is to keep them longer in these stages, either in the physiological maturity or ripening stages. So if we can extend the length of these stages, that is what we do in post-harvest technology. Okay, in short, we want to delay the senescence. So we are trying our best to delay the senescence. Okay, so when it comes to senescence, it is irreversible. Senescence unata passe ආපස්සට ඒක හරවන්න බෑ. It is a death process. For example, now this is broccoli. Fresh broccoli, you can see the florets in green, nice bright green color. When broccoli is kept in the normal environment, it will become yellow color like this. So when it becomes yellow color, it is senesced. It has undergone senescence. So after that, you won't be able to recover it. And people don't like to purchase this senesced broccoli. They don't consume it. That's what happens with senescence. Okay. Now I think you can have a break now. It's 10:30 now. So have a break and 15 minutes. I think 15 minutes will be enough. So let's meet again at 10:45 after the break. Okay. So meantime, if you have questions, come up with them after the break. I'm ready to answer. The previous session. Right. That's good if you don't have questions. So we were talking about the common characteristics of these perishable products. And now you know that they all do respiration, and based on the respiration rate, there are highly perishables and less perishable products. And there's another common thing which is common to all these perishable products is transpiration. Transpiration is the moisture loss. Moisture loss. Now I showed you a picture at the beginning. Moisture loss contributes to weight loss, and I showed that earlier. Now think of a product like this. Here you can see a apple, or you can take any product, fruit or vegetable. Now when you keep it in the normal environment, the water will go out. There will be some water loss through this transpiration. And what factors affect this rate of water loss? Now, if it is a very soft organ, like it doesn't have a hard skin. Think of tomatoes like fruit, it doesn't have a very hard skin. And their water loss will be very high, very quick. And what about some other products like durian, pineapple like fruits? They have a harder skin. Even pumpkin, cucumber like products, they have also somewhat harder skin. So the nature of the skin affect the rate of water loss, rate of transpiration. So if the product has somewhat harder skin, it is acting as a barrier for the moisture loss. Okay, so the moisture loss will not be that fast. But compared to that, some products have very thin skin and very soft skin. Then their water loss will be higher. That's the commodity factor. That's a genetic factor. In addition, the outer environment, nature of the outer environment also affect the water loss. Think of the environment these days. Now, these days we have heavy rains. The environment is very humid. The humidity, ආර්ද්‍රතාවය වැඩි මේ දවස්වල. Because of the rains, it's not very dry. The environment, atmosphere is not very dry. It is very highly humid. Therefore, the water loss is low. But think of the situation we had about 1 month ago. It was very dry and hot environment, and the water vapor or the humidity is very low in the environment. And when the humidity is low, there will be more water loss from the product. So another situation is that if you keep the products close to a fan, moving fan, or in an air-conditioned environment, you know, in an air-conditioned room, the humidity is maintained by removing the moisture from that room. So when the moisture is removed, that atmosphere or the air becomes dry. So then there will be more water loss from the products. You can see that even in supermarkets, when you now you know in supermarkets the products are maintained under AC environment. In the AC environment, in the air conditioned environment, sorry, I had to mute this. Hi. In the environment, the products dry out quickly. You can see some vegetables and fruits are quite wilted in some supermarket environments. If they don't spray water time to time, the products will dry out. Right. So the dryness or the humidity level in the environment has a big effect on the water loss. If you keep the products in dry environment, they will dry out. The product will dry out quickly. And if you keep the products in humid environment, they won't lose much water. Their freshness will be retained. This happens when you keep the products in a polythene bag or a polythene container. Then the moisture loss will be lower and you can keep the freshness, right? So transpiration also therefore affected by various genetic factors and environmental factors. So humidity in the environment has a big effect. Relative humidity has a big effect on transpiration rate. The problem of transpiration is when the moisture is lost, you lose the freshness of the product. Product එකේ fresh ගතිය නැති වෙනවා moisture loss වුණාම. Okay. Now you learned about the senescence process, the death process, and so throughout these processes, the bad handling practices can speed up the senescence process. So let's see how it happens. Right? So bad handling can speed up the senescence process. That means the shape life can become very short because of the bad handling practices. Let's see how it happens because of the bad handling. So in Sri Lanka, the people who handle these products are very careless about their proper handling. So they don't care much about maintaining the quality. They have very rough handling. Perhaps we have seen these things in the market, in transportation or in economic centers. You may have seen how the people handle these products. We are supposed to handle them as delicate live material, but our people handle these things as very rough products. Right? So they have very rough handling. So because of poor handling, these products get damages. We call them mechanical damages, right? And mechanical damages are different types. Sometimes the damage is a surface injury. As you can see in these pictures, sometimes it can be a surface holes or punctures like this, and small damages on the surface. We call them surface injuries due to hard surfaces, due to nails and cuts. These kind of surface injuries can happen. Sometimes the damages are happening due to impact problem, impact bruising. We call them bruises, thalim, and this happens due to impact. Impact is gattane. That means they hit each other. They hit each other. Sometimes this is called abrasion. Abrasion is එකට එක ගෑවෙනවා, ඇතිල් වෙනවා. එකට ඇතිල් වීම සහ ගැටීම නිසා ඇති වෙන හානි. Now this gattane or impact bruising can happen when you even harvest the product. We have seen some people harvesting some fruits onto the ground. So the fruits will fall onto the ground. And due to the hitting of the ground, those places will get bruises like this. So you can see here some pairs, and these two pairs show the impact damage. happen due to falling from a height. So when you harvest fruits onto the ground, when it hits with the ground, it causes a tissue damage. It may not be visible at that unripe stage, but when the fruit is ripening, you can see the damage, right? So these are called impact bruising. Abrasion bruising also happens due to hitting with each other. And impact bruising also happens due to what? Now, when you transport products, if they hit each other within the package, then also it can happen. Hitting with each other, hitting with the package boxes or within each other, it can happen. Then there's another type of damage called vibration bruising. This happens especially during transport in poor packages. So this happens during transport due to vibration. Due to vibration, these products go up and down. It happens when the product is loosely packed like this. So it will go up and down and causes damages. You can see these black color patches, and these patches are caused by these vibration damages. Okay. And this is another very common damage that we see in Sri Lanka. Under our situations, compression damage is very common. It is called by the pressure. The pressure created on fruits. Now, can you see this left side photo? Here are some package boxes, cardboard boxes. And as you can see, the box is not strong enough. It's not mechanically strong enough to withstand the weight of these top layers because it's weak material. Right? In this case, the boxes in the bottom gets a very high pressure from these top boxes, and the products are therefore under pressure. Talon, P is high. So we call them compression or pressure bruising. And you can see due to the compression, these products got damaged like this, brown color areas. So why this brown color or dark color areas? We will soon learn why these dark color patches happen due to this pressure and impact bruising. And here's another situation. When you tightly pack products, that also causes compression bruising due to the high pressure. And one of the best examples is in tomato transport. Tomato, takkali. In transportation, we have seen in many economic centers, they transport tomato in wooden boxes like this. This wooden box is about 1 foot tall. So the fruits on the bottom, fruits in the bottom is heavily damaged because of the pressure from the top for tomatoes, right? So we can see a lot of tomatoes in the market are bruised because of that. So why is that damaged tissues appear in brown color? You saw this brown color patches in the damaged tissues. So this is because of a enzymatic activity. It's a chemical reaction. So the damaged tissues become brown color because of an enzymatic activity. There are enzymes and substrates, right? So due to the tissue damage, the enzymes mix with the substrates, then they react. Due to the reaction, dark color phenolic compounds are formed. And because of these phenolic compounds, those places appear in dark color. Right? So that is one thing which can happen due to mechanical damages. Not only that, because of the mechanical damages, there will be infections. What are infections? Fungal and bacterial infections. Because through the damaged places, they can easily get into the product. Now here, every product has a protective cover, protective skin. Now when the skin is damaged, bacteria and fungi can easily penetrate, easily go through that. So that's why damaged fruits and vegetables rot quickly because of these fungal and bacterial infections. And the other thing is, this may be new to you. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you haven't learned about ethylene by now. So there's a compound called ethylene. Ethylene is a plant hormone. Plant hormone, and it's a gas. Vayu, plant hormone. And like humans, plants also have hormones, and hormones regulate their functions. So ethylene is a very important plant hormone. It can regulate so many functions, so many activities in the plant body and plant organs. One of the things done by ethylene is fruit ripening. So ripening of fruits is induced by ethylene, started by ethylene. In addition, it induces the senescence process. So ethylene causes the senescence process. Ethylene gives the signal, and then it starts senescence earlier, right? So any plant tissue can produce ethylene. Fruits produce ethylene, leaves produce ethylene, flowers produce ethylene. So any tissue can produce ethylene. And when a tissue is damaged, it will produce more ethylene. So that is the serious thing about here. There will be more ethylene production from damaged tissues. So if a product is damaged like this, in the previous case, you learned a lot of mechanical damages. If the product is mechanically damaged, if it is crushed or damaged, or there are cuts or bruises, then there will be more ethylene production from those tissues. And as a result, it will speed up the ripening and senescence processes in that organ. So this is the bad thing about ethylene. And because of these reasons, we should avoid injuries, avoid mechanical damages. Understood? Right? So because of the mechanical damages, these things happen. And as a result, you get a very short shelf life. Okay? So that's why we have to prevent mechanical damages during handling. And we have to do very gentle handling, not rough handling. Okay, so that is something that Sri Lankan people ignore all the time. So this is the same thing I have incorporated in that Sinhala language here, how these mechanical damages take place and what happens due to those damages. The discoloration, fungal and bacterial infections, and ethylene production. Due to the ethylene production, the senescence and the death of the organ will be hastened. It will happen quickly. Okay, so now you know what happens when a fruit or vegetable is damaged due to careless handling. Have you ever noted that when you keep an intact fruit and a damaged fruit, which fruit ripens earlier? මුකුත් වෙලා නැති හොඳ තක්කාලි ගෙඩියකුයි ඩැමේජ් වෙච්ච තක්කාලි ගෙඩියකුයි එකම එකට තියලා තිබුණොත් මේසයක් උඩ තියලා තියෙනවා. කෝකද ඉස්සරලයි දෙන්නේ? Damaged one. Why? More ethylene. There'll be more ethylene produced from the damaged fruit, and the ethylene will induce ripening. It will quicken the ripening process. Okay, ඉක්මනට නරකුත් වෙනවා මෙතනින් බීජ යන නිසා bacteria fungi. So now also you should understand why avoiding mechanical damages is important. So these are the things that happens when a fruit is damaged mechanically. There will be moisture loss from this place. You know, the protective skin is lost in this place. So as a result, there will be more moisture going out from these cells, tissues. So there will be high moisture loss. You already learned that bacteria and fungi can enter, microorganisms can enter, and increased respiration rate in this place, in the damaged place. These cells increase their respiration rate because of the tissue damage. Okay, then increase ethylene production. So all these things happen, and as a result, we experience short shelf life in damaged products. Okay, so what were you learning up to this level? So you were learning some common characteristics of perishable products. So what was the first characteristic you learned? They are live products. They are live products. They do respiration, transpiration, and they carry out metabolic activities. We have to keep that in mind. That is the first thing you learn about these perishables. Another thing you learn about these perishables is that as these are live material, they even grow after harvesting. They continue to change after harvesting. What do you mean by change? I will take some practical examples. Now take this pineapple. This part in pineapple is known as crown, pineapple crown. Right? So when you are transporting pineapple to other countries and you are sending pineapple by sea freight. අපි නැවේ එහෙම අන්නාසි අරිනවා නම් වෙන රටකට නැවේ යනකොට සති දෙකක් විතර යනවානේ අඩුම. So it will take about 2 weeks if you are doing sea freight. We should not pack them horizontally like this. This is horizontal packing. What will happen at the end of the journey in the other country? So when it reaches the other country in about 2-3 weeks time, the crown may have grown curved. It has grown up, but it appears curved like this. So if this is a pineapple fruit, and the crown will appear misshapen like this, upward. Now instead of this direct direction, crown will grow upward. The curvature, it's because it goes opposite to the gravity. So misshapen crown is not a serious issue for our local market, but for export market, the crown should be very erect. It should be erect and healthy. They will refuse it. Okay, we are not eating the crown, but the appearance of the fruit gets bad if it is curved. So you should pack pineapples upright if you are sending it for long distance transport, which takes more than 1 or 2 weeks. Okay, right. So that is because of their continuous change after harvesting. Similarly, this asparagus, even this asparagus sprouts, they are also growing continuously after harvesting. So we don't pack asparagus horizontally like this. They grow very fast. So when we want to transport asparagus, we pack it upright like this. We pack it upright. So there won't be any curvature. Because they change after harvesting. In addition, there are other changes like fruits will undergo ripening, leafy vegetables will be undergoing yellowing, some other vegetables like okra and bean will undergo toughening. So these kind of changes happen even after harvesting, and what we have to do is we have to stop or slow down these changes. Another common thing about these perishables is they have very high water content. Now think of the water content in rice or paddy. Here the wee වල හෝ හාල් වල අපි හිතමු wee කියලා. wee විකුණන අයත් ඇතිනේ wee මිලදී ගන්නකොට බලනවා තෙතමන ප්‍රතිශතය moisture content. What is it? It should be about 14%. 14%යි තියෙනවනේ හාල් කොටනවා නම් wee කොටනවා නම් moisture 14%. ඒ 14% වෙනකම් වේලන්න ඕනේ wee. So grains have low moisture. Other grains are also same. They are around 14-15%. Cowpea, green gram, they also have 14 or less than 14% moisture. What about these perishables? So now the grains are durable. These perishables, these products have very high water content. Compared to that, where they are about 80, 85, 90% water content. If you take products like strawberries, watermelons, cucumbers, they have more than 80% water content. බරානුව 80%කට වැඩි තියෙන්නේ 85කට වැඩි තියෙන්නේ වතුර. So this very high water content is highly desirable for microbial growth. Lot of bacteria and fungi prefer this high water content. So it is very highly prone to diseases. Okay, we have to consider that also. By drying the products, what we do is we remove the moisture. Preservation කරද්දී ඉගෙන ගන්නවා dry කරනවා. Dry කරාම කරන්නේ මේ moisture අයින් කරන එක. Moisture අයින් කරාම microbes වලට වර්ධනය වෙන්න බෑ. නමුත් fresh products වල වතුර ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි. ඒ හොඳටම මේ නිසා ශුද්ධ ජීවීන් ආසාදනය වෙනවා. So that is also a common thing related to these perishable products. Okay, questions? Any question? Right. Now let us see. Now I have been talking about this bad handling. and poor handling practices. So I want to share with you some of these experiences related to the handling practices in Sri Lanka, especially in the economic centers. You may have seen a lot of handling from in the grocery shops and other places, but I don't know whether any of you have visited an economic center. What are economic centers? අපි සිංහලෙන් කියන ආර්ථික මධ්‍යස්ථාන කියලා. Now this spelling don't take this spelling thing seriously. It's not correct. I think madhyasthana should have to write it in a different way. So there are how many economic centers in the country? There are a number of economic centers in the country. Can you tell me some of these places?
Nabulla, Meegoda.
Yes, very good. Yeah, good. Right. So you have Kapetipola, Tambuttegama also outstations. In addition to the Meegoda and those Colombo-based areas, and this Damulla economic center is considered as one of the major economic centers in the country. Why? Because it provides kind of different facilities to the people, and also the people who are coming to the economic center says that they can purchase almost everything under one roof from this center rather than going to different places for different products. Because of that, growers from different areas of the country are bringing their produce here. And also the buyers come from all areas in the country. They are coming from northern part, eastern, western, southern part, from everywhere. Vendors come to purchase products from this Damulla market. Therefore, it has become a very popular center, and we call it a dedicated economic center, which is the Arthik Madhyasthana. And if you visit there, you can see how they handle these products. And there should be a lot of improvements to their handling method, but still we don't see much improvement. So these photographs are taken during one of our visits with our undergraduate students there. I usually, in my one of my subjects, I give them a task to study about the post-harvest losses taking place in the Damulla Economic Center. So they this was taken during one of their visits. You can see these shops there. There are shop owners. There are a number of shops, nearly 200 or something, and the shop owners do the role of facilitating sellers and buyers. They facilitate the transaction to be performed by the sellers and the buyers here, the farmers or the transport agents and the buyers. The buyers may be wholesalers or retailers or kind of any other middleman. And so they do a facilitating service. They do the weighing facilities, the balances and other things, and also they take a commission based on their transaction. They take a commission. Right? So that's how these shop owners survive. And you can see how the farmers are keeping their products here. You can see now. I can see 3053. Who is 3053? Number 3053. I can see somebody scribbling on the screen. Please don't do that. Okay. So don't scribble because I can see your number. Okay. So be careful. Right. If you want to ask questions, that's fine. Totally fine. You can ask questions. So it may be a mistake. That's okay. Okay. So you can see how they are keeping the bags here. A cucumber or something here on the ground, and all the products are kept on the dirty ground. And it's a practice done in internationally accepted practice is that you should not directly keep the products on the ground. You have to keep a wooden pallet or any kind of a support without keeping the products on the ground directly. But here you can see all the products are kept on the ground. And I will show you some of the packages which are not the best type of package. Yes.
Madam.
Yes.
The before slide, I can see another bad practice of handling vegetables.
Okay.
There's a man sitting on the vegetables.
Yes, that's right. Very good. So you noted that also. Yes. I don't know why he can't sit anywhere else. So he's just sitting on a bag of cucumbers. Kakiri bag එකක් වගේ පේන්නේ. ඉතින් ඉඳගෙන ඉන්නවා ඒක උඩ. Yes, that's also a very bad practice. How many of you have been to Dambulla market? Is there anyone who have been to Dambulla market? You can raise hands so that I can get some idea that you have seen these things at least. This is just one scene. There are a lot of things going on there. Maybe at least couple of you have been there. I'm not sure. So let's see some of the things that now here are some cabbage bags. Cabbage, Goa. And what do you think about this particular packaging? This is a transport package they are using. So this is how they are transporting it. The producers transporting cabbage from Nuwara, sometimes from Kalpiti also.
Overstacking.
Pardon? Sorry?
Overstacking.
Sorry, I couldn't get to.
එක මත එක ගොඩ ගහලා අර තෙරපන
Yes. Stacking practice is bad. Very good. Yes. So that is right. Pressure. So there's a lot of pressure, and the packing is also very compressed. And now you can see the wrapper leaves. These are called the wrapper leaves in cabbage and the outer leaves. So when you purchase cabbage from the market, we can't see these wrapper leaves because we can't see these wrapper leaves because at the retailers level they remove these wrapper leaves. Now this is how the farmers bring, and because of this tight packing, we call this polysac bags. Woven polysac bags, as you can see. This bag provides some ventilation because they have large holes, but still the products are crushed. Having ventilation is good because then it gets it prevents heat build up inside, but still the product does not get mechanical support from this kind of a packaging. Yeah. So I was telling about this wrapper leaves, outer leaves. So this is how the farmer brings it, and by now from Dambulla market, the buyers from around the country will buy this thing and take them to their place in the same package. And after they transport to their places, they will remove these wrapper leaves because they are damaged. The wrapper leaves are useless. They will remove the wrapper leaves and they will sell only the internal head, cabbage head, right? So these wrapper leaves act as kind of a protection here. But the sellers, but later on there will be weight loss because the retail sellers will be removing these wrapper leaves and they are selling only the internal head of the cabbage. This gives some protection because of the availability of wrapper leaves, but still the product is under big pressure. Sometimes you will have to remove more leaves to get rid of the damaged areas. Actually, ගොඩක් head එකිනුත් අයින් කරන්න වෙන්න ඉඩ තියෙනවා සමහර වෙලාවට කොළ ගලවලා මේ damage එක වැඩි නිසා. Okay, so this is an example for bad packaging in cabbage from Nuwara. Okay, and here again we can see papaya. There are small vehicles like Demo Batta. You may have seen that kind of small transport vehicle, and here they have done some bulk loading. So the individual papaya fruits have been wrapped with newspapers, which is a good thing. Then you can avoid some abrasion damage, and also you can protect from some latex damages also. So this is a good thing, but the loading method is not appropriate because in the bottom there will be fruits, and the fruits in the bottom will have a big pressure on them. So when the papaya fruit is ripening, you can see a lot of damages. And also I think this is subject to vibration damage because they are not packed properly. They can go up and down when the vehicle is going through the Sri Lankan road system. Okay, and here I'll show you one of the worst packages for pineapple. This is also polysac bag, and it does not provide mechanical support for pineapple fruits. As a result, the fruits look very, especially the crown part looked very misshapen and damaged. The crown part is damaged, right? So this can cause damages to fruits as well. Because even though it's a hardy fruit, it's never transported in this method. Only one day I saw this transport method. So this is very bad. It can severely damage. Our people is not much concerned about the crown, the health of the crown area, but the fruits look ugly. If the crown is damaged and misshapen, the fruit looks ugly. And this is that tomato example, transporting tomatoes in wooden boxes. So this is that wooden box typically used for tomato transport. There's one good thing about this wooden box compared to those polysac bags. What? This provides mechanical support. So this gives good mechanical support, but inside the package, there'll be compression damage, because these people sometimes put too ripe fruits in the bottom. You can see that they put it as a mixture. There's no uniformity. When they pack the fruits, there's no uniformity in the products inside the package. So some are green color, some are yellow, some are red, overripe. So this is a very bad practice. So there should be uniformity in one package. Otherwise, the whole lot will be affected. The quality of the whole lot gets affected. So sometimes they are putting the bad quality ones in the bottom. So by the time the buyers take it to their place, they can find that the bottom ones are damaged. So how easy is it for you to select good quality tomatoes in the local market? Almost all the tomato fruit has been bruised, damaged. There's a soft spot in every fruit. I have seen that. So this is because of bad packing and bad transport methods. Okay. Now this is another example, transporting in polysac bags, bitter gourd, carawil. So you know, in bitter gourd we have these teeth. Teeth can. So when you transport using these kind of polysac bags, you know there are large holes here. Sometimes the teeth comes out. Here you can see the teeth parts come out. And when you keep it like this, when you transport and handle in this way, these teeth in bitter gourd pods get damaged, easily damaged. Then what happens? Damaged tissues produce more ethylene. As a result, the pods will ripe quicker. මේ වගේ දත් වගේ තියෙනවානේ දාර ඒවා මේකින් එළියට එනවා ගොඩක් මේ රෆ් හැන්ඩලින් ඉඳලා ඒවා ඩැමේජ් වෙනවා. ඩැමේජ් ටිෂු වලින් වැඩිපුර එතිලීන් ඉපදෙනවා. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? එතිලීන් නිසා මේ කරල් ඉදෙනවා ඉක්මනට. ඇතුළ තැඹිලි පාට වෙලා ඉදෙන්න ගන්නවා. So that is a practical problem. And sometimes people cover this opening with leaves. Here they have used glyricidea leaves. Sometimes they put a polythene cover. That is to prevent drying out during transport in lorries, because they are using open lorries, not cool trucks. So in the open lorries, when they are exposed to wind due to the air current, the moisture will go out quickly. So to prevent drying out, they are covering this opening with some of these materials here. Here are some other vegetables. You can see the consequences of this kind of package. Very substandard package. And this is a leafy product like this asamodagang leaves or something like that, coming from some faraway areas, and you can see how bad the packaging is. These are very delicate material, and you know Dambulla is a warm area. It has quite high temperature, and under that kind of temperature, maintaining the quality of these kind of products is very bad, very difficult. And the way it is kept is not good at all. Similarly, these products, beans and yard-long beans like other vegetables, even the green chili, amumiris, you can see how bad they transport this product. They are subject to damages. They damage very easily during this type of transport, and as a result, they perish early. Damages cause more ethylene production, and it causes early senescence in these products. What about this right-hand side ones, leaks? What kind of protection this package provides for leaks? So, is it possible for you to select good quality leeks from the market, local market? It's really hard, really difficult. Almost all the leeks plant has damages on the leaves. Very rarely I find a good quality leeks plant. So the way it is transported, the way it is packed affect a lot to the final quality of leeks, as you can see. සමහරවිට කොළ කපලම දාන්න වෙනවා. කොළවල quality එක හොඳටම අඩුයි because of this bad kind of transport and packing. And some more products like breadfruit. Breadfruit is del. Yes, do you have a question?
අපිට මේ එතිලීන් හැදෙන damage වුණාම එතිලීන් හැදෙන තැනින් ඒකන වළක්වන්න ක්‍රමයක් තියෙනවද මොකක්ද?
Damaged tissues will produce ethylene. Only thing that we can do is now ethylene production can be slowed down if you keep it in low temperature. That is one possible way, right? If it starts producing ethylene, only way to slow down is to keep in a low temperature. Otherwise, there aren't any practical methods. Yes, damaged tissues will emit more ethylene naturally. Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome. Now, can you see how breadfruit del is transported? Now, there are problems with this kind of product. You know, there's a latex, milky latex coming out from this product. And in the market, you can see when you go to buy breadfruit, a lot of latex patches on the fruit, black color latex patches. And because of the latex, it is sticky and it has attracted a lot of dust and dirt from the environment. So they look very dirty. And this package can damage them. You can see these latex patches here, a lot of dirt adhering to the surface, peel, black color latex patches. So this is not a recommended practice. And here in front of a shop, so sometimes the farmers, when they bring the fruits and vegetables, I mean the bulk loaded stuff, bulk loaded into lorries or demobata type vehicles, they unload it in front of a shop like this in the market, Lamula market, and the unloaded product will look like this. You can see now here in the bottom, you can see there are some plastic crates, plastic containers, but it's overloaded here. So, and even the pineapple is here in heaps like this, and you can see the green color of pineapple. So green pineapple here, and this is papaya. You can see how they have dumped it here in a very inappropriate way. Now this is how people transport brinjal, eggplant, and in polysac bags like this. And here we have seen sometimes people cover this polythene, cover this opening with a polythene. Now these are different types of polysac bags, not very ventilated here. There'll be a high heat accumulation inside this bag, this middle part, especially in the middle part of the bag. The heat can get accumulated because of the poor ventilation. So high heat can increase the respiration rate of this product. Now they practice this covering with a polythene, this opening area. The reason is that when they transport in lorries, due to the wind, this calyx area can become black color. So then the consumers will not buy it. Therefore, to prevent this blackening, they are covering with polythene, which is somewhat good because they can keep it without blackening of the calyx. And here's how people bring products to the Mula market, our vendors. so not the vendors, farmers, producers. So sometimes they are the transport agents. There are a lot of occasions that a separate group of people called transport agents and bring it to the wholesale market like this. So most transport themselves. So this is how they transport products to the market. And you can also see here people are walking many bags here. And this lorry contains the products purchased from the Dambulla market. Now this product is going to faraway places. You can read the address in this lorry somewhere in Veyangodo. Yes, I can see it as Veyangodo. It's not very clear to me. So anyway, faraway places they are taking this product. You can see the method of packing here, and there are wooden boxes, tomatoes, then some cardboard boxes, and even the leafy vegetables like things are here. So this is an open lorry. It's not covered even. So this will be going a long way, exposed to sun and exposed to heat, exposed to wind. So very minimum protection, and the pressure here, and people are climbing on that like this. So I'm always wondering why people can't think that these products are very delicate. So it is a very, I think they are not sensitive to these things, the people who are handling these products. So as a solution to this problem, especially during transport, Sri Lankan government tried to introduce a solution somewhere in early 2000. They did that. So they introduced these plastic crates for the transport of fruits and vegetables. Single plastic kuda kiyala, plastic crates kiyana. Eකට commonly plastic containers e wage namuth kiyana. So in early 2000, the government imposed the rule that all the fruits and vegetables should be transported using plastic crates. But a lot of producers, transport agents, and vendors were opposed to that decision. So they did protest, number of protests. I remember at that time, we were undergraduates at that time. We remember in front of the Manning market, there were some protests, and some of them burnt these crates. Me plastic kuda pucha me විරෝධතාවක් කරා ඒ කාලේ කට්ටිය, because they didn't like that. They have so many reasons, they tell so many reasons for that. And even today, it has been very difficult to adopt this technology among the general public. So what happened as a result of those protests? Because of those protests, the government had to withdraw that law. They had to revise it. Then they said only for selected commodities you must use plastic crates. Even for that, some people didn't like. So government now they don't have that law imposed on transporters or producers because of this protest. The general public was opposed to that. I mean, the people engaged in that activities so opposed to that because of merely of some economic reasons, economic matters related to their adoption of this technology. So now I don't think there's a hard and fast rule on this, but because they are not adopting this technology, it has been very difficult to get rid of the losses taking place during transport of fruits and vegetables. So why do you think these people are not willing to adopt this technology? Why don't farmers and traders use plastic crates for transport? There are a number of reasons that they say. Some reasons are actually true. We have to admit that. But even government tried to give some subsidies. You may not know that. A few years ago, government started giving some subsidies. Sahana milata මේවා දෙන්නත් කටයුතු කරා අඩු මුදලට. So some people started using them, but some don't. Now, for example, here you can see capsicum. මාළු මිරිස මෙන්න මේ විදිහට අහුරාගෙන ගේනවා මේකට. You can see this kind of packaging for highly perishable products instead of using plastic crate. So can you think of the reasons why they don't like it? I will give you a task, a self study. So you can find out reasons why the people engaged in this industry, farmers, traders, transport agents like people, why don't they like to adopt this technology using plastic crates? Looks like a simple technology, but they have their own problems related to this, and they say that because of that they are not willing to implement this. So you can find answers, you can list some reasons, right? You can do a self-study, find out reasons and find the answers for this and list down it. You can prepare a list. And now in most countries this has been adopted at the same time. In that period it was introduced in African countries like Kenya, and then South American countries like Guatemala, especially in Kenya like countries in Africa. Now their horticulture industry is developing rapidly, and they are in a good situation. They have adopted these kind of good technologies compared to us. We started in the same period, but they have gone a long way. Right? And how can we minimize the losses using these plastic crates for transport? So first find out the reasons why they don't like to adopt this technology, and also you can briefly explain how post-harvest losses can be reduced when vegetables are transported using plastic crates. You can say fruits and vegetables both here, but I have put only the vegetables here because vegetables are more subject to damage during transport. So you can find the answers for this briefly in the afternoon, right? So after my lecture today, you'll be able to find the answers for this question, these two questions after the lecture. But the good thing happened was that after that, in 2000, early 2000 period, the supermarket channels started using that. And even some private sector companies started producing different types of plastic crates. For example, Damro company. Damro started making different types of plastic crates. As you can see here, these crates have holes. They are ventilated crates. And sometimes for some products, these ventilated crates may not be best. Like okra-like products, bandakka, okra, green chili-like product. If you transport in these ventilated crates, they will dry out because we are transporting in normal lorries. So for that kind of products, it's better to use closed crates without these holes. So different types of crates are available in the market. And sometimes the crates are collapsible. Collapsible means අකුලන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර crates වෙන අකුලන්න පුළුවන්. අකුලපුවාම ඒවා ස්ටෝර් කරන්න වැඩි ඉඩක් යන්නේ නැහැ empty ඒවා ස්ටෝර් කරන්න. දැන් මේකට යන ඉඩක් ප්‍රශ්නයක්නේ. හිස්සේ වගේ එන්න ඉඩක් යනවා. ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ. සමහරලාට උස්සගෙන යන්න මිනිස්සු දෙන්නෙක්වත් ඕනේ. දැන් අර පිටේ තියාගෙන යන්නේ අර නාටාමිලා එහෙම යනකොට එක්කෙනෙකුට පුළුවන් තනියම ලොකු ගෝණියක් උස්සන්න. ඒ වගේ හේතු තමයි මේගොල්ලෝගේ තියෙන්නේ. Now the space requirement is also an issue. Now there are some collapsible crates also available in the market. Okay, so the good thing was that the supermarket channels started using plastic crates, and that is one major reason to reduce their post-harvest losses. So they provide crates and they instruct their suppliers to use crates for transport of their fruits and vegetables. Right. So do you want to know anything about this before writing your answer? For writing the answer, if you have doubts to clarify. Why do you think the reasons? Why do you think that the people don't like to this? One is the high cost, initial cost. The initial cost may be higher, and even the government started providing some subsidies. They didn't adopt it because of some other reasons. Okay, I will give you a chance to find out the reasons and write the answers. Right, so you have some idea about the things happening in our local economic centers. With an example, Dambulla market, I showed you just a few photographs for you to get a picture, overall picture of what is going on there. To compare with that, I will show you some of the handling practices that we have observed in an overseas wholesale market. So the pictures that I'm going to show you have been taken in Brisbane wholesale market, which is known as Brismark in Australia. And these pictures are taken a few years ago. And I will show you some of the differences in their wholesale market or economic center compared to ours. Actually, the situation in the country is different, so I don't think that we can do 100% of what they are doing, but we can get ideas for improvement. Even in our local situation, we can improve certain practices by getting ideas from those developed countries. So that's my view. So in their economic center, they consider about the safety of the people as well. And in their center, as you can see, there are lines here, and people can walk only on certain pedestrian lines because there are some vehicles operating like forklifts. Forklifts are dangerous vehicles which carry stuff from here and there. So to protect the people, they have marked these yellow lines. So the people, the buyers and others visitors have to go only on these marked lines. And there are some safety jackets provided. The people who are the shop owners, they have to wear this orange color safety jacket, and all the visitors and other people who are coming to the center has to wear this green color safety jacket. So then everybody knows that this is a shop owner and this is a visitor. Okay. And also everybody must wear covered shoes. That is for the protection of people. They have to use covered shoes. You are not allowed to go there with sandals or slippers. This is some of the general safety measures. And when you want to buy the products, you'll be given a trolley like this. And you can see the nature of packages. So their packages are far better than our ones. They mostly use these type of packages. These are fiberboard boxes, paper, made of paper, hard material. And if you can see it carefully, you can see that the products, here's the mango, they are packed in one layer. There's only one layer here, and each box is a one layer of mango, and then they are stackable. Boxes are stackable, but they are stacked on top of each other using the corners, only using the corners of the boxes, and therefore there's no pressure coming onto the fruits. The pressure is only onto the corners of the box, not onto the fruits, right? So in that way, they maintain minimum or no compression damage to the fruits. The fruits are not pressurized. They are in a single layer. Single layer means no pressure from anything above. Okay, so these packages are very special. They commonly use these type of packages for most of the fruits. And here, these products have been purchased by the buyers. So the buyers will buy these products and take out into the middle area of the center, so that they will load it into their vehicles using forklifts. And here, they never keep their products on the ground. So these are called wooden pallets. And wooden pallets are always used to keep on the ground, and the products packages are kept on the ground. Right. The other thing is that most of the produce is maintained in cool rooms. They have cool rooms, so the products are maintained in cool rooms, and only samples are displayed out, so that buyers can come and observe the samples and they can negotiate on the prices. Okay, so that is also important thing. And these forklifts can be directly lifted by the these wooden pallets can be directly lifted by the forklifts. I'll show you how it is done. Now, this is a forklift, a vehicle, and it has two front arms. ඉස්සරහින් තියෙනවා නිකන් අත් දෙකක් වගේ කොකු දෙකක්. ඒ කොකු දෙක මේ wooden pallet එකේ මේ සිදුරු දෙක අස්සෙන් දාලා මේක පිටින්ම උස්සනවා. එහෙමයි forklift එක කියන්නේ. This is how forklift operates. It can lift heavy loads using this wooden pallet. Right? So the people won't lift these kind of heavy packages. These are bulk packages of melon or pumpkin-like products. And this is how it operates, as you can see. So this entire package is lifted using this wooden pallet and the forklift. And this is how they are loading it into the lorries and any other vehicle or cool trucks. Right? Now you can see another type of package here. Strawberries. Even in Sri Lankan market, in supermarkets, you can see strawberries are packaged in punnets. We call it punnets, plastic punnets. And here, similarly, it's a plastic container. And these are consumer packages. This individual plastic punnet is a consumer package, and number of consumer packages are kept in a transport package. Right? You can see just one layer of boxes here, just one layer. And you can see the corners of this each box, and there's no pressure going on to the fruits. So this is how they stack transport packages into a bulk package. Okay, and in the retail market, they can directly display it in their retail shop. Is it good or bad? It is good. It is called retail ready packaging. So you can see now most of their packages are retail ready. Why is that? In the retail market, they don't have to handle it much. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගන්න handling වැඩි වෙනකොට loss වැඩි වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම retail center එකට අරන් ගියාම more handling means more labor. ගොඩක් මිනිස්සු ඕන වෙනවා, ගොඩක් ස්ටාෆ් එක ඕන වෙනවා, ආය අහුරන්න, ආය අරගෙන ආය තැනක අහුරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මේ retail ready package එක දැම්මහම මේ package එක පිටින්ම ගෙනියන retail shop එකේ display කරනවා. Even in supermarkets මේ විදිහට display කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට උඩ තියෙන පෙට්ටිය ටික ඉවරුනහම මේ පෙට්ටිය අයින් කරනවා. එතකොට යට එක පේනවා. ඒ වගේ this is called the retail ready packaging, which is used mostly for very commonly for most of the fruits in those countries. It saves labor, time and money, and also it protects the product because less handling is involved. Now here you can see the papaya in the wholesale market. So you can see the uniformity of the product. One of the major quality problem in our product is lack of uniformity. If you pack 10 papayas in a box like that in Sri Lanka, the 10 papayas will be 10 sizes, 10 different color levels, right? බර වෙනස්, size වෙනස්, color development එකේ levels වෙනස් වෙනවා. සමහරව කොළ පාටයි, සමහරව බාගෙට ඒ වගේ there's lack of uniformity in our local produce. But here you can see the uniformity within a package. Same level of color development, the color break stage, and also you can see that individual fruits are wrapped using a styrofoam net that is to prevent impact damage and abrasion damage. So this individual wrapping prevents fruits from impact damage. That was done to some extent by wrapping with newspapers in the local market. And here's again a retail ready packaging for mango. You can also see the uniformity of mangoes here. And this is a retail ready package. The retail people can directly display this for sale. And you can see the corners are very strong. That's why they are stackable on top of avocados. Then still again a single layer. Oranges, display packages, and beans. You can see the green tender beans in styrofoam boxes. No bags at all. They are never using bags for transport. And in tomato, you can see we should harvest tomatoes with a stalk attached. Then it will have a longer shelf life. You can see they have harvest these tomatoes, they get more consumer traction compared to you must keep them at 0 degrees centigrade. So in their markets, they keep broccoli in ice like this, keeping in ice. Corn, what do you do? Corn cobs. Right. Okay. So those are some of the examples just to get some ideas and to give some comparison of what are lacking in our local handling situations. Okay, right. So in our situation, in the Sri Lankan situation, what can we do to extend the post-harvest life of perishables? Now we have got some idea about their physiologic things like their respiration, transpiration, metabolic activities, and their requirements, their common characters of these perishables. Now we are learning all these things to get a longer shelf life for these perishables and thereby to minimize the post-harvest losses. So what can actually we do to extend the post-harvest life of perishables? What can we do? So these are the things that basically we must do. So these are the things we have to do basically. Right? So remember, if I summarize means if I briefly give you the things that we have to do, I can give it in these 4 sentences. So the number 1 is harvest at the correct stage, time, and using correct methods. That is the correct harvesting, correct time, correct stage of the crop, and using correct methods. Adopt appropriate post-harvest handling practices, correct handling, correct cleaning, correct packing, correct transport, that is appropriate handling. Then the third one is cold chain management, maintain the cold chain. The third one, and last one is packing, storage, and distribution systems, appropriate packing, storage, and distribution system. So we have to focus on these things if we want to extend the shelf life of this perishable product. So we have to learn one by one how these things can be done. So by the end of, at the end, after you learn these things, you will get a good idea how you can extend the shelf life of product. So what is the first thing? Harvesting. Harvesting at the correct stage, time, and using correct methods. That is the number 1 thing. Now I am talking about the things from harvesting onwards, but remember, there are things called pre-harvest practices. I mentioned that at the very beginning of my lecture today. Now, actually, about 90% of the quality of the product has been determined by the time you harvest it. තේරුණා? අපි harvest කරනකොට product එකක්, ඒ product එකේ quality එකෙන් 90%ක්ම තීරණය වෙලා ඉවරයි. That means about 90% of the quality of the product is determined during pre-harvest stage. Harvest කරන්න කලින් crop එක cultivate කරන කාලේ කරන practice තමයි determine කරන්න 90%ක්ම product එකේ quality එක. What does that mean? From selection of variety itself, there are things that affect the quality of the product. Selection of variety, your cultivation methods, your irrigation, fertilizer application, pest and disease control. So all these things will determine the product quality. That is the pre-harvest practices. And about 90% of the quality is determined by them. So by the time you harvest, most of the quality is determined already. And what we can do is, after harvesting and during harvesting, only thing we can do is to manage the quality. Right? We can't improve the quality. අපිට had already quality එක determine වෙලා තියෙන product එක quality වැඩි කරන්න බෑ, quality maintain කරන්න තමයි අපිට පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ harvest කරන වෙලාවෙ ඉඳලා අපිට පුළුවන් ඒ තියෙන quality maintain කරන්න විතරයි. හරි? ඒ වෙද්දිම සෑහෙන ප්‍රමාණයක් quality determine වෙලා තියෙන. තීරණය වෙලා. I hope you got the point. Right? So what we can do is only to maintain the quality as much as possible so that we get a reasonably longer shelf life. So now in my course, I am focusing on only the post-harvest practices. Therefore, I will not talk about the pre-harvest practices. You have already learned most of them. So let's talk from this point onward, that is from harvesting practice onward. So the correct harvesting practice is important. In that case, correct maturity of the product and the correct harvesting methods are very important. Why? One of the major reasons for post-harvest loss is not harvesting the product at the correct stage. Not harvesting at the correct stage. So I'm telling this without a lot of evidence. Now, at the Dambulla Dedicated Economic Center, there's an agriculture officer there who is in charge of their agricultural activities, who is representing the agriculture department of Sri Lanka. And according to that gentleman, one of the biggest problems they have in the Dambulla market is that farmers are not bringing the products which are harvested at the right stage. So most of the vegetables they are receiving at the Dambulla market is too mature, over mature. And the most of the fruits have been harvested before maturity. So that was a serious issue according to the agriculture department officials there. So one of the major reasons for post-harvest loss is not harvesting the fruits, vegetables at correct stage. So how to determine the correct stage? අපි කොයි කවදද harvest කරන්න ඕන, harvest කරන stage එක තීරණය කරන්නේ කොහොමද? For that we have indexes. We call them harvesting indices. In Sinhala we call අස්වනු නෙලීමේ සංරචක. එහෙම නැත්නම් අස්වනු නෙලීමේ දර්ශක කියලා කියනවා. In English we call harvesting indices. So harvesting indices are very important to determine the correct harvesting stage of a crop. And we call them maturity and harvesting indices. So what is a harvesting index? It is an indicator of readiness of the plant to harvest. Plant or plant part to harvest. ඒ කියන්නේ අස්සන නෙලීම දැන් අස්සන නෙලිය යුතුයි කියලා තීරණය කරන්න පාවිච්චි කරන දර්ශක. So that is called a harvesting index. Indices is the plural word. Index is a singular word. Sometimes people call it indexes. Then also it's okay. Now let's take an example to understand what these indices are. How many of you have banana in your home garden? Banana plants, at least a couple of banana plants. So have you ever harvested banana from your home garden? Would you keep bananas until it's ripe? Fully ripe? Or not? So now sometimes people say we have to keep it until ripe. සමහර මිනිස්සු කියනවනේ ගහේ ඉදවල තමයි කන්න ඕනේ. ඒ නිසා ගහේ ඉදි දෙන්න තියලා කපන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියනවා. නමුත් ඒක it's not a suitable thing. What will happen if you leave bananas until ripe? There'll be problems from pest animals, squirrels, crows, monkeys, then what else? Various kind of animals, pests come. So there won't be any banana for you. And also the quality, the texture and the quality will also not up to the expected level. And sometimes fruit splitting. Geri පැලෙනවා සමහරලාට. ගහේ මිදෙන තිබ්බා. Right? So there will be issues like that. And also in the commercial cultivations, in industry, they never keep bananas until ripe because you should allow some time for marketing. From harvesting until it goes to the consumer, you should allow some time period. Therefore, we should not harvest them in the ripe state. So, generally, the fruits should be harvested once they achieve physiological maturity. That means the maximum maturity. So that's why we harvest bananas when they are fully mature, not ripe. පැහිලා කියන්නේ හොඳට පැහිලා කියලා කියන්නේ අඹ කෙසෙල් හොඳට පැහිලා කියලා කියන්නේ අපි physiological maturity stage එක. Right? What is special about this physiological maturity? When you harvest at that time, the fruit can ripen normally after harvest. සාමාන්‍ය විදිහට දෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒ stage එකේදී harvest කරා. But there are certain fruits that you have to harvest after the physiological maturity. I will separately tell about those fruits. For those kind of fruits like rambutan, mangosteen, you have to wait till some color is developed. So those are different category of fruits. But for mango, papaya, banana, you have to harvest at the you can harvest at the physiological maturity. It's okay to leave after physiological maturity, but you can harvest at physiological maturity. Then you can have enough time for marketing, and also it will ripe normal. Okay, so this is kind of a green mature banana. You can see in this picture. Now, if you consider fruits, what will happen when the fruits are ripening? Suppose you harvested this banana, green mature banana, then let it ripe in the environment after harvesting. And what will happen in the ripening? So these are some of the changes taking place in fruits when it is ripening. Simple. I have put it into simple terms. There will be, obviously, there's a color change. So the green color of the banana peel will become yellow color. For some other fruits like papaya, oranges, it will become orange color, red color, like based on the variety. Rambutan's red color or yellow color. Now, in addition, the internal changes, the fruit becomes sweet taste. Right? So how will it happen? Fruit becomes sweet taste, increase in sweetness because the sugar level increases. Then the acidity decreases. Acids, immature fruits acids. When the fruit is ripe, you can't feel more sourness. It will become more sweeter. The acidity decreases, therefore less acid, less sour. Acidity decreases. And the flesh becomes soft. Now, you know, in this green banana, it is hard and firm, but when it ripes, it becomes soft. So the tissue is soft. So this happens because of certain enzyme activities. The cells become loose, so the fruit becomes soft, right? So these are some of the things, major things happening during fruit ripening. And all these changes can be artificially induced using ethylene. So this is the principle behind using ripening agents or externally supply ethylene for fruit ripening. Artificial fruit ripening ගැන අහලා ඇති පළතුරු කෘත්‍රිමව ඉදවනවා කියන කෝගොල්ලෝ. ඒකෙදි කරන්නේ මේක තමයි. Using ethylene, you can induce these changes using external ethylene. Then the fruit will start ripening. Right? Now, if you are using artificial ripening for banana, you have to harvest, you can harvest them at physiological maturity and externally supply ethylene, then it will quickly ripen, which is practiced by the industry everywhere. Now, I was talking about this harvesting indices and for banana. Now, none of you have banana plants in your home, so you must be having no experience harvesting bananas. And now this right hand side is Cavendish banana, and this left one is not Cavendish, some other banana, but Sri Lanka exports a lot of Cavendish banana to the international market, and a lot of countries who buy Cavendish banana from Sri Lanka. So in their market, in their supermarkets, they want to display this Cavendish banana in bright green color, so bright yellow color, like this golden color. But when we export banana from Sri Lanka, suppose we are exporting to UK, we have to export in green color, green mature or physiologically mature banana. And they should receive our banana in their country in green color. And in their country only, they do this ethylene treatment and get the yellow color. So until they receive the products, it should be in green color. They don't want yellow color bananas to be received from our country. So we have to harvest at the green stage and send them at the green stage. Why? In their countries, they have low temperature, around 20 degrees temperature. So fruits, when they ripe at low temperature, gives better taste. පළතුරු අඩු උෂ්ණත්වයේදී ඉදෙනකොට රසයි. ඒකට හේතුව ගොඩක් chemical compound හැදෙනවා අඩු උෂ්ණත්වයේදී පළතුරු ඉදෙනකොට. හරි? ඒ නිසා ඒගොල්ලෝගේ රටේදී තමයි ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒවා ඉදවන්න ඕනේ. අපි යවන්න ඕනේ green color. So one of the most commonly used index, harvesting index by the industry, banana growers, is they count the time after flowering. Now flowering means you can see the banana plants here. Now after flowering, they will the plant will develop the hands. So when all the hands or the avari are defined, they remove the male bud. කෙසෙල් මුවේ අයින් කරනවානේ ඔක්කොම ඇර ටික හැදුනහම they remove the male bud and they put a cover like this. So from that date they count the number of weeks. Right? So they count the number of weeks. For the local market, they will harvest Cavendish bananas in about 13 weeks, and for the local export market, they will harvest in about 11 to 12 weeks time. So somewhat earlier, so it is more time. So at this time, the banana bunch is physiologically mature. So that's why they are harvesting at that time. And after that, they do the processing, other activities in the pack house and pack it and send to other countries. So one of their major index is this time after flowering. In addition, when you send banana to export market, you have to measure their size as well. So there's a special gadget they are using, which is called the caliper. And they measure the diameter of these banana fingers using a caliper. And
Brix meter.
Brix meter is used also, but not here, right? Not in banana. I will come to that later. Thank you for reminding that. And here they are measuring the diameter of the banana fingers, because if they are not up to the required size, they will reject it in the export market. So if due to some practice, due to not enough fertilizer application or due to any reason, if they don't get the required size, they will put it to the local market. So the locally grown, the Cavendish available in our local supermarkets are smaller in size. So they are not the export quality, right? Export quality ones are much bigger. The fingers are much bigger. Okay. Usually, if it is rejected, if it is not up to the level of the export market, they will put it to the local market. Okay. Now they measure the finger length, diameter, and it should be free from any defects. So this is how they are determining the harvesting time, harvesting stage for the export market. Okay. Right, so I put this photograph from Dole Lanka Limited. Maybe you have heard of this company. Dole Lanka is a multinational company based in USA, and they have branches in Asian countries like Philippines and Sri Lanka. So Dole Lanka has invested in Sri Lanka, and they have a number of banana cultivations, hundreds of acres in different areas, Sevanagala, Puttlam, and some other areas. In their cultivations, they do this practice, counting the number of weeks after flowering. And they cover it like this, and this is Cavendish banana. So Dole bananas are exported from Sri Lanka. This is from their Sevanagala plantation. Is that clear? Now, what about if you are having some bananas in your home garden? Do you practice any index? What kind of index? I'm sure you are not counting the number of weeks or number of days from flowering. You must be using various other indices. Do you know any other indices? Do you have any experience now? One thing is the size. You will be looking at the size of the fruits and say, now this is now pahila. Then nam pahila kesel kana kapanna puluwa. The size, right? What else? In addition to size, now if you take, yes, you will basically look at the fingers. Banana finger. This is a finger. Gediyak and finger. You will basically look at the banana fingers, and in a cross section, it will appear mostly as a angular structure like this. There will be more angular, කෝණාකාර ගතිය වැඩි මේ corners වල in the immature one. But when the banana is fully mature, physiologically mature, this angularity disappears, and in the cross section it will become more round shape like this. This angularity becomes more round shape. This is කෝණාකාර, මේක ටිකක් round. So when it disappears, this angularity, then we can see that it is physiologically mature. That is one thing we consider in our home garden level cultivations. But for the industry, in the commercial scale cultivations, they don't wait to see this angularity disappearance, but instead they get the number of weeks after flowering and also the other measurements like this. Because when they get this disappearance of angularity measure, it will be too late. Okay, any other indices you are using for bananas? Only the size by looking at the bunch. That is how you basically determine. You will look at the bunch. කෙසෙල් ගෙඩිවල I think it's the same thing that I mentioned about this angularity. මේ දාර වගේ ඒවා දාරවල angular ගතිය අඩු වෙනවා. That, I think that's what he mentioned about iri. Yes, it becomes more round shaped in the cross section. Good. Okay, what about papaya? Now in these kind of fruits, there's a stage called color break stage. So you can see the green color turns to yellow color in certain places. In some papaya varieties starts with the blossom end. This end is called the blossom end. Blossom end, and this end is called stem end. So in some papaya varieties, yellowing starts from the blossom end, and this is called as the breaker stage, color break stage. So it's good to harvest at the color break stage if it is for the export market. But for the local market, you can even wait till it is more yellow like this in the last sample. And sometimes people harvest at the green stage as well, but you may not be able to get the best sweet taste if you harvest at the green stage. And one of you mentioned about this. I'll come to that later. Now here you can see the different stages, different ripening stages of papaya. For now, here's the mature green one. You can still harvest at the mature green stage because it is physiologically mature. Then you can induce ripening using ethylene. That is also possible. This is a color break stage. You can see slight yellowing. And in there's a popular papaya variety in local market now, which is called Red Lady variety. There are other varieties as well. In Red Lady variety, yellow color development takes place from sides like this. Here, slides, not in addition to this area. When the yellowing starts slightly from these sides, it's called the color break stage in Red Lady papaya variety. And these stages are too late. Right? So these stages are too late for harvesting papaya. It will get damaged when it is distributed in the marketing channel. And you mentioned about this bricks value, bricks meter. Yes, that is a very good method to determine the harvesting stage. It's used as a harvesting index in some cases, in practical situation. Okay, one is that you can get a drop of juice from the fruit and measure the bricks value, which is known as soluble solids content. And if it is in papaya, for example, if it is more than 11.5%, it is considered as ready to harvest. So this method is destructive. මේකදී අපිට sample අරගෙන juice drop එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අඩුම තරමේ ගෙඩි කීපයක් හරි කඩන්න වෙනවා. හරි. So sometimes this destructive method is used, but sometimes people don't do this. So how to measure this total soluble solids content? We use a bricks meter. There are different types of bricks meters or refractometers. This one is a manual one. You have to use it like this. You have to put a drop of juice from the fruit onto this surface and close the lid and see from this side, like what you see in this photograph. And this is a manual or the handheld refractometer, and there are digital refractometers like this. In the digital refractometer, you have to put a drop of juice here on this place, and then you can directly get the reading from this digital screen. It's much easier, right? So in both cases, you have to calibrate the instrument using distilled water. So you can get the reading here. If it is more over 12 or 11.5, it's okay. And even though we don't do this practice in harvesting in our country, many other countries practice this before they harvest some fruits. Right? I will tell you one example, like grapes. You know, wine is made from grapes. Wine industry is a very big industry. So there are countries which produce wine, good quality wine. And before harvesting grapes to make wine, they measure this bricks value in the field. The good thing about this gadget is you can take it to the field and take some samples from the field. You harvest a few grapes from the vineyard, the grapes cultivation, and measure the Brix value. And if it is higher than a particular value only, they harvest the grapes for wine production. Because to get good quality wines, best quality wines, they have to get a certain Brix value. Higher. Now, the Brix value is a kind of measurement for sugar content. You can consider it as a measurement for sugar content. So if it gives a high Brix value, that means the sugar content is high. The sweetness is also high. So only if it gets a certain value, they will harvest grapes for wine production. Okay. So likewise, there's a number of practical situations where Brix meter is used before harvesting fruits to determine whether it is the right time to harvest. We mostly do this harvesting, we determine the harvesting indices using our visual observations. For example, in fruits like tomatoes, we should harvest at the color break stage. Now this crop is color break stage. You can see sometimes the yellowing starts from the shoulder area. This area is called shoulder. So the shoulder area will show you some color development in some cases. Then this will be the right stage to harvest. Now what about this one? This is a early stage, too early. Green color, too early. Now this one is color break, and this is too ripe, too late. We should not harvest at this stage, then you don't have enough time to market this product. So the color break stage is the best to harvest tomatoes. Right? So as I said before, there are different methods, different harvesting indices, maturity or harvesting indices. Some are visual, like we look at the size, look at the color change, and yes, look at the shape, like things, and decide that this is the time to harvest. And this is easy. We just do it by visual observation, and this is easy, and it is not destructive. That means we don't have to destroy the sample. Therefore, these are very common, and we call them subjective type indices. And on the other hand, there are objective type harvesting indices. Here, we have to get a definite measurement. Some are not destructive, like computations. In my early example, I told you that in banana, we can count the number of weeks after harvesting. So that is a definite value. It doesn't depend on the people, person to person. මේ objective measurements කියනේවා මොන හරි equipment එකක් හරි මොන හරි definite measurement එකකින් ගන්නේවා ඒවා පුද්ගලයාගෙන් පුද්ගලයාට වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Subjective measurements කියවහම සමහර කෙනෙකුට ඉදිලා වගේ පැහිලා වගේ පේන එක සමහර කෙනෙකුට පැහිලා නෑ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරි? නමුත් මේවා තමයි වැඩිම පාවිච්චි කරන්න මොකද ඒවා ලේසි නිසා. But there are indices like definite measurements. You can quantify number of weeks, number of days from planting or flowering. Then there are measurements from equipment like Brix meter measurement, Brix value that you just learned it. Then the content of certain compounds like oil content, for example. In Sri Lanka, we don't measure these things to determine the harvesting stage, but in some countries, they measure the oil content of avocado, alipera. Alipera වල ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා oil තියෙනවා. ඒ oil content එක ගොඩක් consider කරන වෙලාවල avocado harvest කරද්දී. They have to get the maximum oil content by the time they harvest. So these are lengthy procedures. You have to get samples, you have to take them to the laboratory, and there are lengthy processes, laboratory protocols for that. So these are difficult processes. So the industry is not using these things much unless it is essential.
Drudata meter.
Yes, here's the one. Drudata meter is the firmness texture, firmness measurement, right? So we call it penetrometer as well. Because you asked, I will explain about this also. Now, this is also objective measurement. So this gadget is known as penetrometer or firmness tester. So you can use this gadget to measure the force needed to penetrate the fruit. Now that means if the fruit is firm, if the fruit is not ripe, it will need more pressure to go through it. And if the fruit is ripe, you can penetrate it with less pressure. So that is taken as a measurement. හරි පළතුරක් ඉදෙන්න කලින් ඕන කරන ප්‍රෙෂර් එක වැඩිනේ මේක හරහා යන්න මේ ගැජට් එකට. ඒකේ තියෙනවා ප්‍රෝබ් එක. එතකොට ඉදුණට පස්සේ මේක හරහා යන්න ඕන ප්‍රෙෂර් එක අඩුයි. ඒ වගේ මෙෂර්මන්ට්ස් ගන්න විශේෂයෙන් මේවා යූස් කරනවා රිසර්ච් වලදී. Especially used for research activities to as a measure of ripeness. Right? Ripeness level එක අනුව මේ ගන්න pressure එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. You need very minimum pressure when it is fully ripe or overripe. You need more pressure when it is not ripe. So this is a firmness measurement. So these are objective measurements. If you want to do research work, you have to take some objective measurement because research is specific thing. In post-harvest research, you have to quantify things. You have to measure exact values. Then you are using this kind of gadget. Even for color. Now we can tell the color by looking through our naked eye. But that is different from person to person. මට කහ පාට වගේ පේන කෙනත් එකක් තව කෙනෙකුට තැඹිලි පාට වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට colorimeter කියලා gadget එකක් තියෙනවා. So the colorimeter will measure objectively. It will record color using a code system. So that color is same for everyone. Okay, so that kind of objective measurements are also there. When we do research, these kind of objective measures are specially used so that there are no bias towards people. පුද්ගලයාට වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. But in the industry, they rarely use this. Especially in Sri Lanka, we rarely use these objective measurements in the industry. Especially the bricks value is measured in some cases, but others are very rarely used by the industry. So how do you determine the mango harvesting stage? Mangoes.
Shape?
Yes, the shape will change. In most of the mango varieties, the size will become larger. The cheeks are this area. The cheeks will become very grown and fully. Cheeks will become full. I can hear the music from somebody's microphone.
Color, ma'am.
Yes, color can change. Good. In Sri Lankan mango varieties, not all varieties change color, but in some varieties like Villard, there will be some orange or red color development in this area, shoulder area, when it's ready to harvest. And in many varieties, you can see this raising of shoulders. Now this area is called the shoulder area. This is an immature mango. If you draw a line here, you can see the shoulders are slanted here. But when it is mature, physiologically mature, you can see the shoulders have raised like this. You can clearly see this in this mango diagram here. Now here in the mature stage, this is how the shoulders appear. And when it is physiologically mature, you can see the shoulders are raised here.
Urahisisena.
Yes, urahisisena, the raised shoulders. So you must have learned this thing in your school or in any other course. That's good, right? So skin color can change, flesh color obviously change. And there we have some certain problems in our local mangoes, most of our local mango varieties, because they don't change color much when they ripe. Best example is Karthukulumbam mangoes. What color is it? It's green color, isn't it? Even after ripening, Karthukulumbam mangoes will remain green color. There will be slight difference, like light green from dark green to light green, but it doesn't become yellow color. In the world market, in the international market, mangoes that change color are the demanded mangoes varieties.
Excuse me, miss.
Sorry, I could
Can you show the before slide, please?
previous one. Yeah, I will upload these slides to LMS, so you can take down any.
Thank you, miss.
Yeah. By the way, do you want a break, lunch break, and then I can continue after lunch? Or the other option is I can continue and finish and give you a stop and then you can have lunch or whatever. You want me to continue or do the lunch break? I will do whatever you want me to do. Are you hungry? Now it's 12:30. So if I continue, I'll be able to finish in about 20 minutes. Is that okay with you? So if you're hungry, grab something, a snack or something and eat. Rather than doing it after lunch, I think it will be better if I finish before lunch and give you lunch at around close to 1. I hope it's okay with you. Yeah, I get some messages. Yes, all of them want me to continue. So thank you for the response and I will continue because of that. Okay, so I was telling about this our local mango types. So most of our varieties don't change color when they ripe, like Katha Kolombang and Velle Kolombang, like mango varieties. And to get to the international market, our mangoes should change color. Now, these are very popular mangoes in the international market. Kensington Pride is Australian variety, and Alfonso is an Indian mango, and they are popular. So they change color because foreigners don't know whether it's ripe or not. If it is not color change, if it is not yellow color or orange color, they don't know that it's ripe. They think it's raw, right? So here our Katha Kolombang mangoes don't show distinct color change, but we have some mango varieties which show color change. One is this Willard mango. Willard mango develops this orange yellow color in the shoulder area when it is ready to harvest. And we have a much better mango variety, Tom J.C. mango, which is sold everywhere in Sri Lanka now. People call it Alfonso, but that's wrong. We don't have Alfonso mangoes. Maybe people have started growing trees of Alfonso, but we don't import Alfonso from India because importing mangoes from other countries is prohibited in Sri Lanka. We can't import mangoes. So we have this Tom J.C. mango, initially introduced by the Ellawala Horticulture Private Limited. And now most of the people grow this, and there are commercial cultivations by private sector companies, and there are exports. We export Tom J.C. mango from Sri Lanka. Why? Because this has very good characters, very good quality characters, including the color change. It has good color change, bright yellow, and in addition, it has firm flesh. සමහර local අඹවල වගේ ගොඩක් soft වෙන්නේ හරි හොඳ තද flesh එකක් තියෙනවා. තද ගෙඩියක්. If anybody has experienced at least touching Tom J.C. mango, next time when you go to supermarket, Kiehl's or Cargill's or Apico, just have a look at Tom J.C. mango. They are somewhat expensive, but it's worth getting it because their quality is good. Quality is much better than Katha Kolombang available in the local market. So they have firm flesh, firm texture, and as a result, it is very popular in the export market. It's one of the very good mango varieties going from Sri Lanka to the export market. Okay. Now, when you talk about these fruits, you know that they are doing respiration, and in fruits we can identify 2 patterns of respiration. So don't get confused with this. I will explain this simply here. When you take all the fruits, they have 2 different respiration patterns, and due to their respiratory pattern, we can classify fruits into 2 groups. One group of fruits are called climacteric fruits, and the other group is called non-climacteric fruits. Why I am telling this is that I want to explain about pineapple and some other fruits based on this. So without explaining this, I can't move to that part. Right? Now, this is a graph showing the respiration rate in the y-axis and time in the x-axis. Now, you can see in climacteric fruits, there's a rapid increase in the respiration rate at certain point. Why is that? Now, the special character of climacteric fruits is when these fruits start ripening, their respiration rate suddenly increase. So their respiration rate increases, coincides with the ripening. Again, climacteric සිංහල වචන මම දන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම නැහැ ඇත්තටම. සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ climacteric පළතුරු සහ climacteric නොවන
අන්ත උපරිමය සහ අන්ත උපරිමය නොවන පළතුරු.
Yeah, but better not to use the single word because I have seen in certain material it is used as climacteric palaturu saha climacteric nona palaturu කියලා. So better not to use those very single words there because you are also learning in English here. So for example, if you take banana, papaya and mango like fruits, when they start ripening, their respiration rate rapidly increases, right? So this is called the climacteric rise in their respiration, and that's a special character in those fruits, and they are called as climacteric fruits. And there's another category of fruits like pineapple like fruits. They are cherries, pineapple like fruits. Their respiration rate shows no difference. Whether they start ripening or not, there's no difference, and they are generally low in respiration rates. Their respiration rate is generally low. You can see it in the broken line here, and they are generally low, and their respiration rate continuously reduce with time. They have generally low respiration rate. So these fruits are called as non-climacteric fruits. The special thing about climacteric fruits is, like this mango, banana, you can harvest them at physiological maturity stage, and you can let it ripe normally in the environment, or you can induce ripening using ethylene for these climacteric fruits. But for non-climacteric fruits, you have to harvest after they have developed some internal quality characters. That means after they have started the ripening process. Okay, so that is the difference. If you harvest them at early stage, they won't get develop into very good quality product. Their internal changes do not happen normally. Yeah, I mean non-climacteric කියන පළතුරු වල අපි harvest කරාට පස්සේ වැඩිපුර වෙනසක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ ඇතුලේ. ඒ නිසා අපි harvest කරන වෙලාවෙද්දී sugar level එක එහෙම යම්කිසි level එකකට හැදිලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Otherwise they will not give enough good quality. Okay, I will come to that now. Here this shows two different categories here, climacteric one and non-climacteric fruit. You can see the climacteric fruits, red fruit, cherry moya is kind of fruit, temperate type fruit, mango, tomato, they all have this peak. Different products have different level of peak. But here, non-climacteric fruits, respiration rate gradually decreases compared to them. And here, I'll show you some examples. Climacteric fruits like apples, banana, peach, tomato, rock melon, and for non-climacteric fruits, all the citrus fruits. What are citrus fruits? Dehiculate, lemon, lime, orange, mandarin, pomelo, jumbo, everything, sweet orange, sour orange, everything, and grapes, strawberries. So these are coming under non-climacteric fruits, right? So these, so we don't now, if it is a purple color grapes, we have to wait till some color is developed. අපි strawberries කොළ පාටට තියෙද්දි කඩන්නේ නැහැ නේ. Strawberries පොඩ්ඩක් රතු වෙන්න ඕන කඩන්න. Okay. So that is a special thing about you don't have to write all these things, some additional slides, so don't worry about that. Now I wanted to come here in pineapple. So pineapple is a non-climacteric fruit. Okay, that means if you harvest pineapples when the internal qualities are substantially developed, that will give better quality pineapples. So for the local market, the best stage to harvest pineapple is somewhere here, when about 20% of the bottom area is yellow color. Now this one is color break stage. For the export market, you can harvest at this color break stage, and for the local market, it's instructed, agriculture department instructs farmers to harvest at this stage to get the best quality. So if you harvest at this stage, you can get better sweetness. But in contrast to this, most of our growers are harvesting pineapples maybe in the green stage. So because this is a non-climacteric fruit, after harvesting, there is not much sugar development inside. So that's why in the local market, we can't experience a good sweet taste in our pineapple. That's one reason. Okay, but for the export market, our exporters are mostly harvesting in the green stage, or when about one layer of ice has become yellow color, even before the color break stage. මේ ice කියලා කියන S කියනවා යටම තියෙන S layer එක net ගාව තියෙන යටම තියෙන S layer එක යන්තම් කහ වෙනකොට harvest කරනවා සමහර exportersලා. Others harvest just when it is green color, when the ice are expanded, the green mature stage. They're harvesting a green mature stage, but that is for the export market. It is not a problem because in those countries they expect a balance between the sour taste and sweet taste in pineapple. Unlike us, in Sri Lanka, our people expect more sweet taste, not the sour taste at all. But those people want a balance between sour and sweet taste. Therefore, they don't have a problem even if we harvest at the green mature state. So, but for the local market, we see that it's not enough tasty in most of the cases. Now, you may have heard about this artificial ripening, kutimo palaturu idavim. There's no bad in that technology, right? So if you use it correctly, we can get good quality fruits. It is practiced everywhere in the world, the artificial ripening induction. The important thing is that you can induce artificial ripening in fruits like climateric fruits. I have given some examples: mango, banana, papaya, durian, avocado, apple like fruits. So you can use using ethylene. Commercial chemicals are there in various commercial names. Ethyl, thrill, like different commercial trade names are there, but the chemical contained in all these compounds is ethaphone. Ethaphone is the active chemical available in those, chemical name available in those compounds. So there's a technology for using this. In Sri Lanka, we use this ethyl-like compounds, liquid compound, but in many countries, they use ethylene gas. They use ethylene gas and ripening chambers for fruit ripening. But because that is expensive, in Sri Lanka, we have adopted using ethyl in a cheaper way. Now, rambutan, as a non-climateric fruit, you have to wait till some color development. Here, we don't harvest green rambutan. Do you? Do we harvest green rambutans? No, we have to wait until it shows some color development. Even mangosteen, you can see, you have to harvest somewhere here when it develops some color, not in the green mature stage. It should develop some color, right? So, when fruits are not harvested at the right stage, they will have poor quality and low consumer acceptability. So we have so many experiences with this Karthakulamba mangoes in the local market. I don't know how many of you have experienced that. If you have brought Karthakulamba mangoes from the market, I have plenty of experience in the past. When I tried to purchase Karthakulamba mangoes, it looks good, but when you cut it and eat, you can see that there's no quality, no taste, there's no expected taste. So one of the major reasons is that they are not harvested at the right stage. Why? Because most of the Karthakulamba mangoes are coming to the market from home garden level trees. So usually those, there are some vendors, traders who will buy those trees, and they will come once or twice and harvest the entire tree at once. When you harvest the entire tree at once, all mature and immature fruits will be there. So all the fruits will be taken by them, and then they will do some artificial ripening things using some illegal methods, not using good methods. Even if they use acceptable methods, using some immature ones, you can't get the best quality. Right? So as a result, Karthakulamba mangoes in the market are very poor in quality. So that is one reason, bad harvesting indices. What about the vegetables? Do you harvest vegetables at physiological maturity? Most of the vegetable. It is the other way, right? In vegetables, we have to practice accurate harvesting indices. So generally, vegetables should be harvested at the immature stage. That means before the physiological maturity. When you harvest before the physiological maturity, the vitamin content is high. The vitamin content is high. And let's look at some examples. What about this okra? We have seen in the market, people have broken these tips. Why? මේ tip එක කඩලා තියෙන ගොඩක් බණ්ඩක් කාලා even in supermarkets.
නැස් එක බලනවා.
ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ මෝරලාද කියලා බලනවා. මෝරලාද කියලා බලන්න කඩනවා. Very bad practice, right? මෝරලා නම් මේක නැමෙනවා කැඩෙන්නේ නැතුව. මෝරලා නැතුව ලපටි බණ්ඩක් කනම් මේක ටක් ගාලා කැඩිලා. But it's a very bad practice. Why? When you damage it, there will be more ethylene production. More ethylene production means they will go bad easily and even toughening takes place. Ethylene කියන එක බලපානවා මෝරන්න. Toughening is induced by ethylene. මේක කැඩුවා කියන්නේ ethylene නිෂ්පාදනය වැඩි වෙලා මේක මෝරන්නත් ගන්නවා. ඒ වගේම මේකේ කාලේ shelf life එක තවත් අඩු වෙනවා. Very bad practice. Right? පළතුරු ඔබලා බලනවා වගේම එකක් තමයි මේවා කල්ලා බලන එක. ඔබලා බලන එකත් ඒ වගේ. අලි පෙරෙහිම ඔබපුවාම සෑහෙන damage වෙනවා tissue. Okay? Right. So here you have to harvest immature okra, and you should not touch okra in their pod. So if you touch the okra pod during handling, it will become black color like this. It's very sensitive. It will become very black color. You can see these unsightly black color patches on the okra available in the market, local market. What about bean? Bean, one of the best examples for bad harvesting stage. So bean should be harvested when the pod is immature. But the pod should reach its maximum length and should not wait for pod peeling. I'll show you with this example here. Now there are 3 stages here: immature stage, optimum maturity, and over-mature. What's wrong with this immature stage? In this immature stage, pod is very immature, and if the farmer harvests the pod at this stage, it will be a loss because the weight is very low. So don't harvest at this stage. It's a loss for the farmer. And wait for this maximum length. So when the pod reaches its maximum length, that is the optimum maturity. Wait for only the length, but don't wait for diameter. Don't wait for the increase in diameter. Increase in diameter means pod filling. Pod filling means you can see the seeds developing inside, and you can see even the constrictions for seeds. There are places, and you can see the places are bumping out where the places with seeds are. So you should not wait till this stage. You have to harvest this optimum maturity when it gets the maximum length. But most of our farmers are waiting for this stage. Why? Then they can get a higher weight. බර වැඩි වෙනවනේ. බර වැඩි වෙලා වැඩිපුර සල්ලි ගන්නයි ඕනේ. ඒ නිසා ගොඩක් farmersලා harvest කරන්නේ මේ stage. But it is a wrong practice. The other example is this loofah. Loofah should be harvested at the maximum length, same as bean. And don't wait for full diameter. Now here you can see 2 okra pods. This one has reached maximum length. And if you wait till it increases in diameter, it will be too mature, too fibrous. So this, at the maximum length, you should harvest it. Then you can see better quality inside, the soft inside with solid inside. Seeds are very tender and no fibers. If you wait till increase in diameter, you can get the fiber for not eating, but for scrubs. You know the loofah scrubs. අර ඇඟ අතුල්ලන්න ගන්න. ඒ හදන්නේ මේ වගේ mature loofah pods වලින්. ඒවා scrubs විදියට ගන්න තමයි හොඳ, කන්න බෑ. Right? So you have to get it when the length is maximum, but not the diameter. Tomato-like things, tomato-like vegetables are acting like fruits, right? So this is a fruit vegetable. So you should harvest it at the physiologically mature. PM means physiologically mature stage or color break stage, because it is a kind of fruit vegetable. Okay, but these products, root vegetables, carrot, nocol, radish-like products are root vegetables. They are growing underground, so you can't see it. You can't see it from the top. then what do? You have to check the number of days. Now in seed packets, they give the number of days. Like for example, there are certain radish varieties. You should harvest that radish 45 days after planting. හිටවල දවස් 45න් ready. එතකොට කරන්න ඕනේ දවස් 45 නියමිත ගාන ගියාම තනින් තන කීපයක් ගලවලා බලනවා හරියට අල හැදිලාද කියලා. එහෙමනම් ගලවනවා. In the carrots, snowball, they are also same. Right? So we have to wait till the root development and you can follow the number of days. What about onions? Like, do you have any experience in onions, big onions, red onions? So how do you decide the harvesting time? In onions, now bulb is growing underground. Now these are harvested onions. When the bulb is ready to harvest, you can see some collapse of leaves. Neck එක ළඟින් leaves නැමෙනවා පහළට. Right? So that is an indicator of readiness to harvest. What about these tuber crops like potato, tuber crops and root crops? Most of them, most of root and tuber crops, the aerial parts start to become yellow and dry when the underground organs are ready. For example, in potato, when the potato tubers are ready enough to harvest, the leaves become yellow color and they become drying out. So then we know that it is ready to harvest. Okay. Now we can't talk about each and every crop because of the time. So I'll give you a self-study. You can find out the harvesting indices for these crops as example. So I have included a variety of different, just a few actually, not many, six crops. You can find out the harvesting indices for these crops as an additional activity to gain some knowledge in that area. And there are some very good resources. If anybody wants more details, they want to really study, you can follow these things. Some are available on internet, the materials from other countries. And also there's a very good publication by the Agriculture Department of Sri Lanka. So I will soon upload this material to LMS so that you can download it and save and read it when you have time. Now, this public, so there won't be questions for your exams from these things directly, but it's good if you can read and get some additional knowledge if anybody is interested in agriculture. Right? I don't ask questions for the exam from these references, but it's good to read for additional knowledge. Right? So although we have these harvesting indices as critical measures, sometimes we decide the maturity of harvesting based on various factors like distance to market and the type of market also and the purpose also. Right? One good example is this banana. If you want to send banana to local market, you don't have to harvest at 11 or 12 weeks after flowering. You can wait till 13 weeks after flowering. And even for papaya, you can wait till some yellow color development in the fruit. But if it is for the international market, you have to harvest a little bit earlier. Then you have enough time to send it to those countries. The other thing is the purpose of the crop. If you want to consume papaya, if you want to sell papaya as a fresh fruit, then you harvest at the right stage, mature stage. But if you want to consume papaya as a pickle, අඹ උනත් එහෙමයි. pickle කියන්නේ අච්චාරු වගේ කෑමකට. අඹ harvest කරනවා නම් එතකොට කලින් harvest කරනවා. Before mature, right? So that's why the purpose is also considered. ඒ වගේ purpose එක අනුව වෙනස් වෙනවා. corn, බඩිරුඹු. බඩිරුඹු තම්බලා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කන්න නම් චුට්ටක් විතර පැහෙන්න ඕනේ. නමුත් baby corn, if you consume it as baby corn, you have to harvest very early. So the purpose of the crop also affect the stage of harvesting. Right? So
value production ද මේවා එතකොට
මොකද්ද?
value added production වලටද?
Yes, purpose means various purposes, right? Not just the value added. Now, I mean, now if you take this baby corn example, baby corn is consumed as it is. You can harvest it, you can steam it and eat, you can use it in chopsy making or salads, whatever. Without much value addition, you can consume it as a fresh product after cooking or steaming or whatever, making salads. So then, but the purpose is different. If you want to consume boiled cobs, boiled maize cobs, corn cobs, then you have to harvest it somewhat mature, somewhat grown, right? And sometimes for value-added products, as you mentioned, also it's a different purpose. Like in my previous example, if you want to make pickles, pickles are a value-added product. You are right. So then you have to harvest before maturity. Likewise, it is the purpose, whether it is a value-added product or whether it is for fresh consumption, the purpose has an effect on the harvesting stage. Different purposes. තව ඉතින් උදාහරණ දෙන්න පුළුවන් අඹ වගේ වුණත් අඹ වලිනුත් අපි පිකල් හදනවා නම් ටිකක් කලින් harvest කරනවා. අඹ fruit එකක් විදිහට නම් ඉන්න ඕනේ mature වෙනකම්. Yes. So there may be Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
අප්ම වලින් chutney හදන්න පුළුවන්.
I think your mic, maybe my microphone is too loud. I can't clearly hear what you are saying. Anyway, yes, so the purpose matters, right? So it can be a value-added product or fresh product. Whatever it is, the purpose matters. Okay, good. Yeah, so my last topic today is the things that we have to consider in harvest. So today we focus basically on this harvesting operation after the basic stuff in the morning. The last topic is about the considerations in harvesting. So when we are harvesting agricultural commodities, we have to pay attention to a few things. The number one is minimize mechanical injuries. Now you know what are the consequences of having mechanical injuries. It affects the shelf life. Therefore, we have to minimize mechanical injuries. What will happen? You know, you have learned it. What happens if the mechanical injuries take place? So we should pick them gently, harvest them gently, and in harvesting, it is better to keep a stock attached to these kind of products: tomato, avocado, melon, papaya, and bean. A small stock can be kept with the fruit. Now, when we harvest the fruit, we can leave a stalk like this, especially in avocado. You can harvest with a longer stalk and later you can trim it. You can trim it to about 0.5 centimeter length like this. What is the importance of this? Now, have you seen this disease in avocado? It's a very common thing, and this is called stem end rot. Singaleen කියන නටු අග කුණු වීම කියලා, English in stem end rot. And this is very common when you remove this stalk. Now, in harvesting, almost all our people remove this stalk. When you remove it forcefully, then there's a wound here. There's a fresh wound, right? So through this fresh wound, these stem end rot causing pathogens can easily colonize here. They can easily grow here and they can cause the disease symptoms from here. That's why it starts from this wound. මේක තුවාලයක් නේ, ඒක මත හොඳට වැඩෙනවා මේ pathogens, the microorganism. So we can reduce this stem end rot incidence greatly by trimming the stalk to about 0.5 centimeter length and leaving the stalk here, right? And the gadgets or the tools used for harvesting. People use secateurs. You can use different types of secateurs like this. And sometimes if the fruits are not reachable, people use ladders like this. And some picking shears with a long pole. And the tools should be sharp and clean. Sharp and clean tools. And now we use these kind of improved picking poles. Because if you let the fruits to drop on the ground, there will be impact damage. And that will make their shelf life shorter. So to minimize damage during harvesting, we use these picking poles. And improved picking poles means you have attached a bag here, typically a net bag, and there's a circular ring here and a cutting blade. So when the fruit is detached, it will get into this net bag. So without a damage, you can harvest the fruit. There are different types of collection bags that we can use, and there are extendable rods also. And you may have seen when people harvest fruits, sometimes they use a gunny bag or a cloth like this. So they will catch the fruit coming from the tree, and it will prevent fruit dropping onto the ground. If they drop the fruit directly onto the ground, there will be impact damage. So this will slow down the fruit, and this is a soft surface, so it will protect the fruit from damage. And sometimes people in the durian season, if you have a durian tree, large durian tree, you see the seedling trees are large, they apply a layer of straw. Durian ගස් වටේට පිදුරු තට්ටුවක් එහෙම අතුරනවා දැකලා තියෙනවා සමහර පැතිවල. දූරියන් කාලේට ගෙඩි වැටෙනවනේ දූරියන්. So if you give a straw layer, ටිකක් ඝනකම් පිදුරු තට්ටුවක් තිබ්බොත් වැටෙනකොට වෙන damage එක අඩු කරගන්න. Here's another picking pole for mangoes. And people make some simple devices like this. This is using a Coke bottle, and they have cut the Coke bottle one side with a sharp cut. So they put it like this, and they detach the stalk. Natuwa මේ වගේ කපලා ගන්නවා එකෙන්. So when you harvest mangoes, it's good to harvest with a long stalk like this here. And when you harvest some soft fruits like strawberries, never touch the fruit with your fingers, always touch from the stalk. If you touch from this area, it will damage the fruit. And don't harvest the root crops when the soil is too wet or too dry. So it will damage the product. That is number one, careful harvesting and gentle handling during harvesting. The second thing is that the harvested produce should be protected from high temperature. So always do the harvesting in the coolest part of the day. In some cases, people do harvesting at night because it's cooler, and sometimes early in the morning, and sometimes late in the evening. It may not be practical all the time in a country like Sri Lanka, but we should try as much as possible to harvest in the cooler part of the day to avoid high temperature. Okay, what's the importance of avoiding high temperature? It's because when you expose the product to high temperature, their respiration rates will go up and the product starts going bad. So it will limit their shelf life. Right? Third important thing is avoid contact with the soil. So minimize the contact with soil. Why? Soil contains microorganisms, fungus, bacteria. They can cause diseases. Sometimes farmers directly put the harvested produce on soil, which is very bad. So it can cause soil-borne diseases. Therefore, immediately after harvesting, put the product into clean containers. Fourth one is that you have to get rid of this latex problem, latex burn. So in the local market, I'm sure that you have seen dirty mangoes. People usually don't wash mangoes here. There are dirty mangoes, and a lot of latex is there deposited on the surface, on the skin, and this latex is sticky, and they have attracted a lot of dust particles and dirt on it, and it's a very dirty product, so the consumers don't want to purchase it. So you can see, in addition to being dirty, it causes problems in the skin. Because of this latex can damage the mango skin. So through the damaged places, diseases can easily develop. The pathogens can easily penetrate the skin and develop diseases through these damaged areas. We call this latex burns. There are latex burns like that. Right? So because of that, it is important in mango like products to get rid of the disease, so latex burns. So one of the things that we can do to minimize the latex burns in mangoes is harvest with the longer stalks like this. Here you can see, if you harvest mangoes with a longer stalk like this, there'll be less latex coming out. On the other hand, if you harvest mangoes with this area, if you cut in this area, the natural falling point, this area, there'll be very high latex flow, latex coming out. So it will be a serious problem. So cut it with a long stalk and later you can trim it. So once you trim it, this is something that industry people practice. There's a wire mesh like this on a height, certain height, and they trim the stalk and put the mangoes upside down on this wire mesh so that all the latex will drain down. And later on they wash it. So for washing purposes, you can use 1% alum solution. 1% alum is potassium aluminium sulfate solution. So you can put into the wash water. Sometimes we will use salt water as well. And wash it, and remember, after washing you have to dry it properly. So dry it properly before packing. There shouldn't be any moisture on the surface. So if you clean mangoes like this, there'll be very good looking mangoes in the market. Okay. Finally, on top of that, you have to consider the cost and the convenience of the methods. So in many developed countries, they use semi-mechanized harvesting practices like this. They use machineries as well as labor. Now, in this case, cherry picking is done by manual methods, manual labor. And here on the left side, you can use cherry picker, just cherry picker. And in Sri Lanka, we have a lot of limitations in mechanizing the plantations, mechanizing this. We mostly use manual harvesting because of certain limitations. In our country, we have small plots of lands, not hundreds and thousands of acres, somewhat limited land sizes. So operating machineries may be not economical or sometimes not possible. Suppose in hilly areas of Nuwara, if you use machinery like this, it's not possible. Hilly areas, small land areas. So mechanized harvesting may not be possible or may not be economical in the countries like us in many cases, right? So even the labor is available in our countries compared to the labor in those countries. Our labor is cheaper. That's what we see. And even in those countries, sometimes manual harvesting is practiced in certain crops. Now, this is spring onion, also known as shallot. In Australia, they harvest spring onion using this manual labor, and they harvest starting from 4 a.m. in the morning. They because it's cooler time of the day, and they finish harvesting by about 10 o'clock in the morning. So because after 10, 11, it will be very hot, very sunny. So they don't want to harvest in the sunny, hot time of the day. They start harvesting early in the morning. And mechanical harvesting, you can see the lettuce like things because they have thousands of acres together. Mechanized harvesting that is very economical, and also it is affordable, and their labor is also expensive. So this is cabbage. You can see the mechanized harvesting. In these cases, they do the harvesting, uproot the plants, and do some initial packing, grading, and send into the pack house. Carrots, mechanized harvesting, as you can see. In Sri Lanka, in Nuwara area, it may not be possible to do this kind of mechanized harvesting because of the land topography and the land sizes. The manual methods are cheap and affordable. Fruit harvesting, apples and similar fruits. These are called semi-mechanized harvesting. So you need both people and machinery. Okay. Right. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. And I told you that I have 2 days to cover this module. Now, you learned about the basics of post-harvest physiology and the harvesting operation. What is the importance of this harvesting operation? Determining the correct time to harvest and applying correct methods of harvesting. So in order to manage the post-harvest quality of agricultural produce, we must manipulate the following things. So after harvesting, we have a lot of things to do to maintain their shelf life and quality. So basically, we have to manipulate, or we have to manage respiration rate, transpiration rate, and we have to look after their metabolic activities and ethylene activity and all these physiological processes, and we have to get rid of this mechanical injuries. So these four are very important, and in my next lectures, I will be talking about how to manipulate these things to increase the shelf life of products. Okay, I have done that slide in Sinhala as well. නිෂ්පාදනවල පසුවස්සන ගුණාත්මක භාවය පවත්වා ගැනීමට අපිට කළ හැකි දේවල්. කළ හැකි කුමක්? ශ්වසන වේගය අවම කරන්න, ජල හානිය අවම කරන්න, එතිලීන් වල බලපෑම, එහෙම නැත්නම් පරිවෘත්තීය ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වල වේගය අවම කරන්න සහ යාන්ත්‍රික හානි වළක්වා ගන්න. So these are the things that we have to do. You should know how to do these things. ශ්වසන වේගය අවම කරන්න කියවට අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ කොහොමද ඒක අවම කරන්න කියලා. So those things will be discussed in my next lectures. Okay. So do you have questions from today's part up to this level? Yes, otherwise that's all for today. Not getting any questions though. Yeah, right. So if you don't have questions, we can wind up the session today. And I will upload these things on LMS, so you can have a note of this lecture. So if you have no questions, thank you very much for joining with my lectures today, and see you next time.